It's my duty to please the booty.
And Muzz got mad at me, the coach said, he goes, Jesus Christ, why don't you just work 2 nines? And I went, okay.
Switch the call.
Please never do that.
Yep. So.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 483 of Spittin Chiclets, presented by Pink Whitney from our friends at New Amsterdam Vodka here in the Barstool Sports podcast family. What is shaking, gang? We had some fireworks in Ontario, an insane Super Bowl, and it's a big week for the Chiclets crew, so let's say howdy to them right now. The Whit dog, Ryan Whitney. What's shaking, my man?
Not much, guys. An amazing game last night. Great to watch. It was a hell of an effort by San Fran. Right at the end, they couldn't get it done. But Mahomes is the new Brady. I mean, you can't deny it. I'm a Pats guy. I'm a Brady worshiper. But at some point, you got to just be open to admit that through 6 years as a starter, this guy, he's a way better player through 6 years than Brady. And there's numbers that back that up. But quickly to my week, I have 2 things I got to bring up. One. So of the second accident of my 2-accident day, no, the first one.
When one day you got in 2 car accidents?
Yeah, my 2 car crashes. The first one. That was the one that went through insurance. And if you guys remember, I was going 1 to 3 miles per hour when I tapped into this person, in which it was like a little red, like 2-door car with 5 people in it, including a 2-year-old in the back seat on somebody's lap. And nobody spoke English. Absolute disaster. Remember, fire trucks, police,
full body cast.
Oh yeah, the full Monty. And they wanted the ambulance, and the ambulance came, and then through the interpreter, they said, oh, we'd have to pay for the ambulance. Like, oh, we're not doing the ambulance. And the cop said to me, he goes, these people could end up, or I brought up, like, hey, they can't try to, like, sue me, right, for injury. There was no injury. Nobody even was moved. It was a love tap in the back. And he's like, yeah, insurance is, you're fine. Well, sure as shit, I got a call from insurance. And they're coming after me.
Oh, they
come on.
And I knew it. So I had to give a statement to the insurance on what exactly went on. And now they're coming to look at my car, which obviously that's fine because in the front there's absolutely no damage. But
your license plate's bent. That's about
so
it.
I'm recorded on the phone line with insurance, and like on the recording, I'm like, I need to be adamant here. There's no possible way you could be injured in this accident. And the guy's like, okay, yep, that's on the record, right? This is a recording. And then I said it again. He's like, Mr. Whitney, sir, you've already made that clear. Trust me, we have ways to go about realizing that they could not possibly be injured. But there's one, right? I knew it was coming, and I'm sure, they're trying to come after me. The second thing, so Chiclets cast this week. Very special Wednesday night, guys. Come and join us on True TV and Max and watch the game. Pittsburgh versus Florida. I got history in both. Biz has history in Pittsburgh. Can't wait for this night. Well, it's Valentine's Day on Tuesday, correct? Or is it Wednesday?
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah, it's actually Valentine's Day, so excuse me. So my wife, being a wonderful woman, she said, well, we're not going to be together for Valentine's Day, so I lined up a little surprise for you. Or us. I said, oh, great. What was it? It was Tuesday morning. So she wouldn't tell me what it was, and sure enough, we start driving into Quincy. I'm like, where are we going right now? And she's like, oh, I'm like, I want to know where we're going. Like at this point, like I don't know what we're doing. Okay, surprise, we're in the car together. We don't have to wait till we get to the door of this place. She's like, oh, it's this amazing new, I think it's like popular on TikTok. I don't know exactly where the backstory comes from. It's like a very special scalp massage and a head scratch, scalp massage, shoulder massage. I was like, no shit. She's like, yeah, it's this random place that does it, and apparently you can't get a reservation to get one of these for 6 weeks. And I luckily called, and we were going to have one at 10, and I was going to go at 11, but I called about a week or so ago, and we can both go at 10 o'clock. Now, you're not together. It's like a little area, and then they just pull over the curtain. I said, is this a goddamn Thai foot massage that business invented? She's like, what's that? No, it's a scalp massage. So we go in. And
she's been listening to the pod.
No, she hasn't. So I was like, what the hell is going on? She never has, never will. Thank God. So I go in, and it's phenomenal, right? They start with the shoulder rub, the head scratch, the head massage. They got the tools out on your face. It's just amazing experience. And about 30, I don't know what the tool is, Biz, but it's like a I don't know. It's like a
Yeah,
massage.
so my a couple of my girlfriends have them. They're like these the rollers that they put in the freezer. So was it
Yes.
the cold one?
Yes.
Yeah, it takes the inflammation out
Yes.
of your
And
face. and just makes-
I'm an inflammation guy.
Yeah.
And I don't put my head in my cold tub, so the face is always inflamed and gross. Whatever, I deal with it. It's my face. I'm going to live with it. Well, about 35 minutes in, it's about an hour thing, maybe 40 minutes in, she brings out this big, hard plastic bubble. It was like almost like what the top of an astronaut would put on his head. Goes all around your head, and they put it around my head. I'm kind of like, what is this? She's like, oh, steam, steam, steam. I was like, oh, nice, you know? So they set this thing up, and then they plug some hose into it, and all of a sudden, just this steam is coming, and obviously the hard plastic bubble stays around your head, and the steam gets in, and your face gets all warm, and apparently after that, they're going to end up, finishing the face massage, getting the scalp massage, just wonderful. So far, I'm like, what a Valentine's Day gift for my wife. Of course, I didn't get her anything. So I'm sitting there and I'm about this close, 1 second away from falling asleep. And all of a sudden, the thing collapses and buries me in the forehead. It cut my forehead. Boom. Cut my forehead. I was like, ah. And the whole place is like, what's going on? The woman's like, oh my God. Oh my
Like
God.
the people in the Kaya hit.
And I was like, am I bleeding? And then all of a sudden I hear my wife laughing. What is going on? And she's like, yes, you're bleeding. You're bleeding. I said, holy shit. This other woman, she walked by and apparently she was not paying attention and she buried the hose at the bottom that connected to the top. And it rumble fucked the entire thing. It came smashing down on my head. So, I mean, how's that for a Valentine's Day gift? I said, thanks a lot. I appreciate your thought and your love for me, babe. But like, you ended up cutting my forehead. I'm going on True TV to announce the Penguins-Panthers next week.
Did you call your insurance back?
I could own this massage place. Whitty's Thai Massage.
Can I see your forehead?
No, because now it's kind of like healed, and I've done so much work on this. I mean, I'm talking Neosporin every 10 minutes for the past week. So it hasn't been a week. It's been 6 days. It's fine now. And especially with the ability for us to get a little makeup on Wednesday night, I'll be good to go. But just the idea of like being so ready to fall asleep from a wonderful scalp massage and then having a crashing giant moon boot type like contraption fall on your forehead and cut you. I mean, some say, I didn't deserve that. That's kind of what I'll leave that at. But in the end, it was a wonderful gesture for my wife. It was a good experience until I got cut like I got high stick by Morgan Riley after celebrating an empty net goal. But in the end, I came out on top because I really kind of battled through this biz.
You're not the only one having head issues this weekend. I got a good one for you. You're going to love this one.
Paul Biz nasty.
But yours is just you were getting head and it didn't go well?
No, it was. So I ended up going to Waste Management.
Baby. We have a lot to talk about. That tournament might be canceled at some point.
Yeah, so just like the more it's gone on, the more some people just become complete goons. Like even not on the 16th now, you'll have guys following players and just yelling in their backswing. So the players are starting to get a little bit fed up. From my understanding, that was one of the rumors going on Twitter that they were thinking about, but I doubt that they would cancel it. You need a type of event like that for the PGA. But from my understanding, they were kind of letting everybody in, even if you didn't have passes for that certain day.
I heard on Saturday they weren't even checking tickets anymore.
Right, yeah. Like when you walked into the front gate, apparently it was just a free-for-all. So I don't know if they thought because of all the rain and all the mud and how you were basically condensed to just walking on the sidewalks. Because normally when you're trying to get to the 16th and go all these different places, like you can kind of walk along the grass, and so the laneways are a lot wider. Well, because it was so, like even when I was walking to the 16th on Saturday, there were people on the side grass part trying to like skip and get by. They were bailing. You had girls dressed in all white, just wiping out.
And it was wet from all the rain, correct?
Oh, yeah. I think Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, collectively, they'd gotten a shit ton of rain. So it ended up being like a muck fest and maybe not as enjoyable as years past, but nonetheless, a great time. Went to 16th, went to this greenskeeper where it's maybe a little bit of a younger vibe. They got a DJ there, got to watch a little bit of the golf. So, and then after that, I ended up seeing Darcy Hordichuk, who always takes care of us along with
And
the
I think
other
he's part of those. Is it Firebirds?
It's called the Thunderbirds, and they throw the
Thunderbirds.
whole thing on. They raise a ton of money for charity. So Horty and the Thunderbirds always make sure to take care of us. So shout out to Horta Chuck. And then we went to House and Grounds for a little bit of a chill vibe before we headed over to Kygo. So overall, an incredible Saturday night. But on Friday, I ended up going with a few buddies to that Global Ambassador again. So one of the other restaurants associated to this place has now opened. It was a little bit, it was a little delayed. They had that soft opening. Things have starting to roll. People starting to head in there. So I think collectively through the whole Global Ambassador, there's like 4 or 5 restaurants, 2 different pools, one on the ground level, one that's a little bit more private for the members only. They got a coffee bar in the morning. So this place is unbelievable. So we go for dinner on Friday night, and a girl that I kind of know, she ended up coming over, and we didn't end up staying late. We ended up, she was feeling a little bit frisky, bring her back.
Let's go, baby.
It was game on. So we go round 1, round 2, then, obviously get a nice, like one of these incredible hood washes.
To get you going again, right?
To get me going again, buddy. And about halfway through, like spit, it's all dripping, right? It's just a free for all. She stops and proceeds to take out a Zin out of the top decky of her mouth. I was making out with her the entire time, had no clue. She had an upper decky in. Freezer Tarp, Mrs. Freezer Tarps was giving me the gluck, gluck, blah, blah, with a fucking Zinski.
Is she Canadian? Or like
She's
Finnish?
not Canadian. She's American. Have you ever seen a girl Zin? I am
Finland.
fully.
I've seen girls in.
I had a head high, and we're not talking about my fucking noggin here. I had a head high the rest of the night.
So,
Bud,
are girls zinning?
Yeah, I think it's more common than you
I
guys
am
think.
fully
Well,
on
give it
board
head.
with Congress trying to ban these things now. Whatever people in Congress want me backing them, reach out to me via DM, via Twitter, reach out to Jeff Jacobson, whoever you have to. I am fully on board. This is getting out of control. It needs to stop.
Imagine
I don't know.
this, like, Senator, I was getting domed by a girl in Zin. The guy's like, what the hell? That's why I want to get rid of these things. Now, were you that disgusted by it? Where it's
No,
like that,
I was more in shock. First thing that came to my mind is like, I can't wait to tell Whit on the podcast, obviously. So then
I sent her the Zin.
But how fucking preposterous is that?
I
don't know.
guess nowadays, according to Grinelli, it's more normal. But for me, like, it's almost just like, oh, it's kind of a guy thing.
We were making out. I mean, we'd already went round, had no clue that this thing was even up there.
What
So I
flavor
just
was
thought and it was just the way she went about it. She just took it out and then like chucked it down my hallway because I kind of got like a little hallway to my bathroom in the bedroom here. But I was like, what was that? She's like, Zen. I'm like,
she probably didn't have it in until she saw that crack house apartment you have there. She's like, oh, if I'm going back to a dude who lives here, I'm chucking a Zin in.
shut the fuck up.
What's this place? $700 a month?
Oh, so I've
Biz, that
officially
is-
I've experienced it all, man.
That's a first.
I don't know whether
That's a
I want
first.
to marry her or never talk to her again. That's the thing, right?
Oh,
Edwardson.
Freezer Tarp's going to be begging you for this.
Oh
girl's
yeah, to the dome. How does he do? Imagine she started just rifling off all of his sayings. Oh man, Tucker
at that
Carlson,
Nettie, man.
giving you that dome with the Tucker Carlson and top shelf, man.
But Biz, I think
Upper
the-
decky. Where your hog
deck,
goes.
upper decker dome piece, baby. Wah, wah. Oh my god, got the mascara dripping with the Zen bomb, top shelf, baby. What's up, Ari? What do you got for me, buddy?
no, so you
Spit
you
on my
missed the end
hog
of the
with the
game, you
cinnamon
said.
flavor, yo.
Oh yeah, give me that
How-
nicotine spit. I'm like, hey, tuck one of those in my Forzy. Maybe I'll get it.
That's what I thought you were going to
Let's
say.
up
She had
the
a Zin in her
milligrams.
fuzzy.
That's
Up the MGs, baby.
Yes, yeah.
Who needs Cialis when you got the
Zin.
Zenalis? The Viagra. Let's go, baby.
I don't need a spitter. I got your cock, man.
Yeah.
Oh, my fucking God.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, man.
What up, guys? It's Pink Whitney time. Read by the man himself. Yes, Pink Whitney. The #1 flavored vodka. Pink Whitney is where it's at. And for all the people who are football fans and have been drinking Pink Whitney throughout the college and the NFL season, yes, it's over. It's over. It's a sad day. but Pink Whitney doesn't stop. It never will. We're on to the next sport. We're on to the next event. We're on to the next party you're going to. And we're on to the next bar you go to, because that's what I want to do. I want you to do. I want you to head on over to your local bar and make sure to order some Pink Whitney. We can mix it up with a little mixer, a little soda water. You can do it as a shot. You can do it any way you want. Maybe even a little energy drink in there for a little pick-me-up if you're looking for some energy. But Pink Whitney is the drink that I will be having a little bit of before our big Chiclets cast on Wednesday. You got to loosen up before you're on TV talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Florida Panthers, so that's where Pink Whitney's going to help me. Probably a nice little mixy before we get going, and it's the exceptionally, smooth, great tasting vodka with notes of refreshing lemon. And now they have the 1.75 liter bottle, more of the Pink Whitney we know and love. Great for parties, sharing with friends. And I'll tell you, this bottle's a monster. It's enormous, but it'll last a little longer for you. You can enjoy it with some buddies. You can enjoy it with your family. Doesn't matter who. Everyone loves Pink Whitney. So take your shot with Pink Whitney right now. Back to that tournament.
Yeah. Let's go back.
So Zach Johnson, I think my least favorite professional athlete of all time. I've been on
seems
this
like
guy.
a bit of a rocket nerd.
I've been on this guy since he blocked me on Twitter about 8 years ago. I mean, him sitting there. So the thing is, as you mentioned, yeah, like yelling at guys' backswings, like that's not cool. But these players also kind of have to understand it's one event a year. You don't have to play in the event. Last year, I believe it was an elevated event, so they got the huge purses. This year, it wasn't. But they go to the event, they kind of got to know. I'm not saying yelling in somebody's backswings to play. That's brutal. But these people are so crippled, you almost have to understand what you're getting yourself into at this event. Now, that goes even more so if you're going to go over and like talk to the fans that are yelling at you, in which Zach Johnson did. Apparently, he was getting just ragdolled and ridiculed for his captaincy during the Ryder Cup, which was a horrific display by him as captain. He was horrible. And he's over there, and you know people are going to get the phones out recording. And he's like, enough, I've had enough. And it's just like, oh my God, do you understand how much worse you're going to do once you go over? Like, you have to just take it, and it sucks. You're getting paid a lot of money, but keep walking. Because once you go over as one nerdy golfer trying to yell at a bunch of drunk kids, you're only going to look worse and worse. I mean, you saw Billy Horschel yell at some fans who were apparently yelling in a guy's backswing like that he was one of his playing partners. And of course, like, what's going to happen when you're talking to all these drunk kids? They're just going to laugh at you and rip on you even more. I think one guy goes, "You cock," to Billy Horschel, and then everyone starts dying laughing. So these guys got to understand, like, Big Cat had the best quote. I think the players pretend to love the tournament, but now they're realizing, like, we're stuck in the Coliseum and we got nowhere to go. Now, the bad thing about the tournament was when they cut off alcohol sales on Saturday, understandably, I mean, there's videos of kids just sitting there passed out, pissing themselves, people falling down the hill. It's madness. But they cut off alcohol sales, which I guess you have to do at some point. But
well,
I mean,
so I don't know if you mentioned the fire marshal showed up.
Oh no, because too many people.
That's what happened. Because they were so over capacity that the fire marshals came in and then they had to shut down the alcohol just because of what was going on with like the mud and the chaos. Too many people being drunk, yelling at the players. So I think it was just a collection of everything, and they said pause.
So it would just suck though for a group of guys who are normal having a couple beers, and then all of a sudden they can't get a beer the rest of the day. So it'll be interesting to see what the tour does with this event. It makes enormous money. I'm assuming the ratings are great. Granted, they had to finish the tournament after the Super Bowl started, which I'm sure crushed their ratings at the end. But it seems to be getting crazier every single year now.
It's pretty cool to live in a place that gets that, because every year you're essentially getting a full week Super Bowl type of event where you're getting, the city's got a certain buzz about it. And even the weeks leading up, they have Barrett Jackson. So basically the minute that February starts here and then the spring training ends up rolling in. So it's a good 2-3 months to live in Scottsdale. So I hope they don't get rid of it. That would suck. And let's keep the ball rolling, baby.
Yeah, judging by the clips, with a lot more donkeys than usual. Dudes were making like not snow angels, sand angels in the fucking sand trap.
Yeah, that's just a loser move.
That's just.
I mean, you're going to jail for a
donkeyness.
night because you got on Twitter like doing a sand angel.
Streaking and shit.
One thing that you didn't mention, Whit, that you had going on in the last week is you started a new show on Barstool.
Yes. Actually, RA, I gotta bring up something with you, buddy.
Yep, I know.
Started a new show. And for everyone who isn't aware, it's myself, Dave Portnoy, and Kirk Menahan of the Kirk Menahan Show. Very interesting in terms of I had no clue what we were going to talk about. Neither did Kirk. He's the host. Dave, I think that's kind of how he goes. He's not much of an outline guy. It's kind of just like, we'll talk about Barstool stuff. I don't really know. We'll talk about anything. Well, we did the first show, and it was actually pretty good. It had that lunatic, I don't know how to even describe Nate, just a deranged human, and he's screaming at this new Barstool employee, Ohio State, who they were going back and forth along with Kelly Keegs, another Barstool personality, over Barstool Radio basically being canceled, and our show, the unnamed show, beginning Thursdays, 11:30, live. Well, the show finishes, and to rave reviews, I mean, a lot of numbers, a lot of views, a lot of people engaged, and I check Twitter, and I see RA retweet the show and write, "Holy cringe." So, sorry, RA.
The king of cringe chimes in.
King of cringe. Like, RA, like, what the fuck is your problem?
All right, that was a real-time tweet. What you guys had Nate on that at that time. So I quote tweeted at that time. I was talking about Nate on the show. Obviously, I wasn't shitting on you guys. At that moment, I was like, oh my God. Nate, when he was yelling and being a maniac, it was so cringeworthy. That's when I quote tweeted and said, holy cringe.
Why do you do this on Twitter? You tweet shit where like everybody's got to essentially go dig for the information. You keep shit so fucking vague sometimes. Like how are people supposed to understand that meant that? Like tell us.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I can see why people read it later.
You think they're going to go match up the times?
My teammates really supporting my new show.
It wasn't a clip. I just saw it. I was like, oh my God, this is cringe. I just retweeted it. Holy cringe! And then I realized afterwards, it wasn't a clip.
It.
I quote tweeted it, right. And then afterwards, I was like, oh fuck, it wasn't live.
Do you know how Twitter works?
I do. And then I realized,
do you?
I don't want to delete it.
Based on all the replies, do you not? Based on all the replies. And people saying like, what's up your ass? It was a great show. And like people basically saying like, what's your issue and why wouldn't you support your teammate?
You never addressed it, all right.
Did you never address it? Like, did you?
I mean, it's Twitter. I mean, I don't like owe Twitter an apology, but a few people did say, Ari, you were talking about Nate because Nate was on at the time. I quote tweeted it. That was the whole gist of it. I apologize, Ryan, Kirk, and
thank you,
Dave.
Ari. You know what?
I meant no disrespect.
Wow.
I'm a big
That's all
fan
I
of
was
you guys.
looking for, all right.
RA hates Nate. RA hates Nate with a burning passion.
Yeah, it was 100% about what was on at that exact moment. And I get it, realized afterwards it was still live, so people saw it later, thought I was talking about you guys, and 100% not what I meant. I mean, I say what I got to say, and obviously I'm a big fan of you guys.
I
the show
saw
was
it
great.
and I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm like, support a teammate here. Fuck.
Oh,
All right,
I saw it and I was fuming. I'm like,
Now-
I'm just going to wait till Chiclets. I'm going to wait till Chiclets. This motherfucker chirping my new show.
And then I didn't want to delete it because
to be
look
fair,
like a pussy when you
I would
delete
say
shit.
Barstool Nate has probably been the biggest 180 for me as far as quote unquote talent is concerned at Barstool. He'll go at Dave just as hard as you will. When we had that live event this summer where we were, what was it, 20 years of Barstool, celebrating it all, he was going right at Dave with everything he'd written down, premeditated.
So that's the argument about Nate. And now I've had not many dealings with Nate. I think one time we went out to lunch with him when we were in New York years back. Apparently, like when he's the spider monkey, which is Nate's, I guess, alter ego, he's entertaining. He's going at people. He'll say anything. He doesn't necessarily know the line because if you watch the unnamed show, he basically called the guy a pedophile, which is probably a no-no considering the guy's a teacher and he's not a pedophile. Probably a word you don't want to use these days. So I don't necessarily think Nate knows the line. That was a basis of part of the show. But the argument is that when he's Nate, he's as boring as all boring can be. So I think if he could be full-time spider monkey lunatic, that he could be very successful as a content person. But it's hard to live your life on and miserable towards every human being you work with at every waking moment. So I don't know if he could be that guy always.
I mean,
but nonetheless, he'll come at anyone.
I would imagine he doesn't have a ton of friends at Barstool based on his antics.
No. I think you'd be surprised. I think a lot more people like Nate than you'd think. I think.
Well, that's funny you say that, G, because nobody really ends up sticking up for him anywhere.
I know.
So what kind of friends are that? Maybe the type of friends that would call your new show cringe.
Hey, I clarify, boy.
What did you do this weekend, all right?
Friday night, went down to see my buddy Riz, watch the hockey games. Saturday, I stayed in. I didn't feel so hot. Stayed in all day, just fucking
Probably because
easy.
of what happened Friday night, correct?
No, just no. But the Super Bowl was yesterday, so it was like, yeah, have a couple pops Friday, chill out Saturday, and then Sunday, I went down to my local Knights of Columbus, and we had some guests come over. Coop and the boys, a couple of the coaches come by to watch the Super Bowl. It was a pretty good time. John Cooper and I don't know whose names they want out there or not, but him and a few of the coaches come by, watched the whole game. They had a fucking ball, man. It was like open bar, like fucking prime rib dinner, hot dogs at halftime. Like they were like, all right, this is the best fucking time. They had a fucking fantastic time. The game was awesome too. So watch the bowl with Coop and the boys, and everybody had a grand old time. So had a good weekend. Can't complain.
Get these scoops from the Lightning. What are they saying about Sergachev?
No, I don't even break I don't really. It's like when you meet like fucking an actor. Last thing you want to do is talk about like fucking movies.
Keep business out of the relationship.
Yeah. I didn't fucking hit his head about that. But dude, everyone's like, wow, he's the best guy. Coop's just like, he's such a regular dude. Like people like are shocked like how much of a nice guy he is. But everyone had a fucking a blast hanging out. So it was a good time. Biz, you missed the fucking end of the game though. How'd that happen?
Yeah, so I had a massage booked. I went for a Thai massage. Yeah, the Thai, same spot. 0 for 13. It was good. I needed one, and I'm back on the road here for 5 weeks, boys. I'm moving out of this apartment. Yeah, I'm done.
Wow.
Yeah, I moved everything over to my new place, which is still coming along. Probably about five to 6 weeks away from being completely finished, at least from the structural standpoint. Still got to do all the landscaping, but
how's your current anger towards the guy building it, or are you on good terms right now?
Well, I mean, it was supposed to be fully done middle of February, and like now that I'm going for 5 weeks, at least I could put my stuff in it, and I'll close the door. It'll remain clean in that room, and he's got another 5 weeks to button it up. So I'm sure I'm going to get back, and it's still not going to be done. So at that point, maybe I blow a gasket.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in a decently healthy place. Okay. I've done a good job of channeling my anger. A lot of deep
That's through
breathing,
the Thai massage and
a lot
the
of Thai
walks
massage
and the Zen blowjobs.
So Zinski's. Right as the third quarter was ending, I missed the rest of the game. It seemed like a great ending. I was following along the box scores because I don't have the NFL.com network or whatever to watch the games. But I mean, all right, at the end of the game, what was it? Was it just Mahomes taking over?
Kelsey stepped up. I mean, I have to say, I think this is a top 3 Super Bowl. Definitely top 5. Was it a top 3 Super Bowl?
I don't know. I don't know.
The
I think
first half was
all
pretty
those
boring.
Patriots wins, I'm biased, were maybe probably better. But no, that was right up there. Say top 3, top 5, doesn't matter. Biz, what's funny is like through 3 quarters, the game you saw, nothing really going on.
I disagree with G. I didn't think the first quarter was boring at all. I thought the special teams were amazing. I thought they were making huge defensive plays. Like every time there was a possession, it seemed like something happened to completely change the momentum. So it wasn't just like, 3-and-out, boring punt. There were probably a few of them. But even like the special teams, like I said, they were hemming guys in like within the 10-yard line to the goal line. I think each team had a turnover in the first half. Yeah,
the first 3 quarters reminded me a lot of LA Rams versus the New England Patriots a few years ago. I think the final was like 13-7. It was just a defensive special teams battle. There wasn't much going on. Like that doesn't really get me going. I get why it gets some people going, but I like to see the tutties.
Like even the one play Mahomes made, it was like a 50-yard play. And then a few plays later, they end up fumbling. And then Travis Kelce goes over to the coach and starts bumping him because he wasn't in the block. So I thought it had plenty of action regardless of the score in the first half.
Is that, I didn't know if he was, I never even found out why he was, I mean, he
was pissed.
Bodied Andy Reid.
Right. I think he was pissed because as a tight end, and this, I don't know a ton about football. I just kind of read online and scope through. He's a tight end, and tight ends typically are decent blockers. I think he's more known for his receiving than blocking, where maybe Gronk was a better blocker and receiver and best overall tight end. But I think that he was frustrated because he'd been taken out where he could have made the block, which would have taken care of the guy who ended up coming over and helping strip the ball out. So that's kind of where where he's like, hey, last game of the year, baby. I want to be in every fucking play. And I got my billionaire girlfriend here watching, and I don't want to look like a loser on the bench.
Okay. Well, in terms of the fumble by the Chiefs, so I was in everyone knows about Super Bowl squares, right? You get your numbers, and end of the quarter, end of the half, you can win a bunch of money. So I was in one where you had new numbers for every quarter. Okay.
Yeah.
And you were paid $1,000 a minute if you had the current score.
Oh my God.
So my second quarter numbers was AFC 7, NFC 3, right? So the 49ers are up 3-0. And as the first quarter's ending into the second quarter, Casey's driving. Mahomes has that play. They go all the way down to the 10. So now if Casey scores and they go up 7-3 as the second quarter, so the guy who had 0-0, he won 10 grand, the 15 grand the first quarter, because every minute he got a grand. So as Casey's going in, I'm like, dude, if they score 7-3, every minute on the game clock, I'm getting $1,000. And they friggin' fumbled. I was crushed. I was absolutely crushed. But forget my bet and forget the Super Bowl squares. An incredible game. And when it came down to it, man, Patrick Mahomes is just something else. Like it's like Brady, Jordan, Tiger Woods. It's just these guys. The bigger the moment, the better they play. They're always going to come through in the clutch. Every time you doubt them, they end up. I mean, the Chiefs weren't even that great of a team this year. They like kind of struggled through the regular season here and there, and then apparently their run to the Super Bowl, I guess based on advanced analytics and numbers, was the hardest, most difficult run that you would have had to go through to get to and win the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
They beat Miami at home. They went on the road against Buffalo. They went on the road against Baltimore, and then they beat the league's preseason top team and top team throughout the year in San Francisco. So the guy is unstoppable. And the thing is, I saw Big Cat talking about that when overtime happened and then San Fran won the coin toss. He's saying that you should have declined and should have kicked off to start overtime. I don't understand where he's coming from on that, because in the new NFL, it was actually the first NFL playoff game since they changed the rule a few years ago in which every team will get the ball, no matter if it's a touchdown or a field goal. So his thought is that if you kick off, then you know what you need. You either just need a field goal if they get no points, you need a field goal to tie, or a touchdown to win. Basically, you'd know what you need to do. But my thing is, if both teams go down and score, right? Say San Fran, they got the ball. They go down. They got 3. Well, if KC comes down and they limit them to 3, then next score wins the game. So I don't know why you'd kick off, right? Because if you're planning on both teams scoring, I
didn't understand it either. I would want the ball first.
I know.
Well,
he's saying it's not even a question.
So the old rule was if you got the ball first and you scored a touchdown, it was game over.
The old rule was even a field goal was game over, and then they switched it to field goal, the other team would get the ball, but touchdown, it's over. And then they went to, all right, no matter what, the team will get the ball that kicked off, no matter what happens on their defensive stand.
So basically you're saying is what Dave and Big Cat were tweeting about made no sense.
Not to me.
I agree with you.
I guess the San Fran players didn't know the rules. I guess there's some reports that they didn't know the full overtime rules.
Well, that's up to the coach. Who's another interesting character in all this, considering he was the offensive coordinator of Atlanta when they blew the 28-3 lead to the Pats. He was the head coach of San Fran when they were up 11 or whatever in the fourth quarter and lost to KC. And now he's blowing this game and they were up 10. So this guy's obviously like a high-level offensive mind in football, but the bigger the game, he's the opposite of Patrick Mahomes. He shrivels.
Dude, it looked like it was Dunzo Whit for a little while there. San Fran was shredding them on that last drive, and then they stalled out with the field goal. Everyone thought it was going to be Dunzo, touchdown, fucking game, set, match. But how much was that buy-in for that square pool you just mentioned, Whit, if they were giving a fucking $1,000? Wow. Nice fucking
and what's interesting is, though, I was lucky enough because at the drawing of the numbers, everyone wants 0-0 because you're guaranteed at least a couple grand if for, say, 2 minutes they don't score in the first quarter. Well, there was $700 left over, and so they pulled a name to win their entry fee back, and I won that. So nice. it was all going to be gravy. I didn't lose any money on it, but in the end, I was this close before that early fumble by the Chiefs. But an amazing game, entertaining. It was. You just knew though. You knew, at least I did, that Mahomes was getting that ball after they gave up the field goal, and it was donezo.
It's been
think about it. It was 4th and 1. Man. If they had a 4-down stop, fourth and 1, and obviously Mahomes gets the ball, gets a quick 5 yards. Just an incredible athlete, and he's 28 years old, dude. Like, I don't think this isn't even close to being over.
Yeah, I said a year or two ago, if there's anyone who could break Brady's records is this guy right here. And he's already got fucking 3. He's only 28 years old. I think second youngest to already win this many Super Bowls. So, and congratulations to Taylor Swift as well. So people are so fucking triggered by her being on TV. Like,
I don't really understand why. I don't get why it bugs people so much that she's involved with it.
Exactly. It's like, if anything, it's like fucking more people watching the game. If anything,
Way
it draws
more
eyeballs. Way more people. But hey, we were talking about an unnamed show a few minutes ago. What's going on with Game Notes? A little switch in the schedule there or what?
Yeah, Game Notes is now moved to Fridays at 11 a.m. Just, you don't want to go head to head with Dave, Whit, and Kirk. So yeah, Game
Cringe.
Notes 11 a.m. every Friday moving forward. Can be found across all platforms. Yeah, so it's we're gonna go heavy into picks. The boys are gonna be giving out picks.
Dude, how about Merle's with the RPI lineup read the other night? He crushed
it.
Fucking, it was like
Here,
a salute.
all right, let me play that quick.
Yeah.
I'll play that
Oh,
video.
Matt Gurley, he's from Troy. He's he's an RPI legend, right? Played everywhere in the world, and he's here to do the read.
I told you this morning, if you get the win tonight, we'll be back next year for Chiclets University. It's the biggest night of Troy for anything. This is Big Red Freak Out. Go get it done. We got the best starting lineup to get us going. Left wing, number 20. There better be no tummy sticks out there. Nathan Sullivan. Center, number 17. It's your last freak out. You better be buzzing. John Beaton. Right wing, number 9. He's already contacted the alumni that he's hosting the after party. Ryan Brushin. Left D, number 23. Where is he? You better be playing as good as your hair looks tonight. Right D, number 7. His dad played so many NHL games, he's going to finance a new arena for us. Max Polinsky. And then goal, number 34. If this guy plays like he did last night, I'm getting him an NIL Watson Gloves deal. Jack Watson.
Boys, we're back. We're back in the gambling sphere. We just signed a huge deal with DraftKings, so now the guys have a place to give out their picks on a sports book, and they have the Barstool Bets tab on the DraftKings sports book. Merle's is going to be giving out tons of picks. He's got the Merle's Minute, which will be, I don't know if it's going to be daily, how often it's going to be, but Merle's is going to be hammering picks. And shout out to DraftKings. It's a huge partnership, and I think that was one of the first sports books Barstool ever partnered up with.
Yeah, it was 2014. It's a Boston-based company. They own the space. And so I don't know if any of you listeners saw on our Instagram and our Twitter, I did a kind of video in terms of announcing Spittin Chiclets with DraftKings, Barstool with DraftKings, and the read that I had for this, it's not really an ad. It was more an announcement. It was long and there was a lot of different things. Buddy, if we had a behind the scenes of me trying to do this, Biz, it would have taken me 5 hours. I ended up having to send over Jack and MB line by line. I would do one sentence. I sent him 15 different videos and they had to mesh it all together. It was the most pathetic experience I've ever had in my life. I couldn't read. I couldn't speak. But it ended up coming out smooth with the wonders of, figuring it and putting it all together.
Editing?
And the edits. It was all about the editing.
Yeah.
Like the Sandbaggers. It's all about Pasha and his editing. So thank you to those guys who helped me out on that.
Hey,
Shout
how
out to
about the
DraftKings.
first contest, though, they're doing tonight? They got to make 41 free throws
Dude,
in a row.
that's
Big
not good.
Cat, Prez,
Well,
Jersey
it's kind of
Jerry.
like with Jersey Jerry, what they did with the simulator and getting the hole in one, where this is the new activity. But because it's DraftKings, they're going to allow this type of stuff. I think the prize pool of guessing how it's all going to play out, like fans can submit DraftKings bets by like guessing how it's going to transpire based on time or whatever. And I think that they're giving away at least $100,000 in prizes. If not, every winner gets $100,000. So pretty cool stuff they're doing. And shout out to DraftKings and we're back in the gambling space, boys. Woo-wee.
Dude, there's no way they're going to hit 41 in a row, Biz. There's no way.
I
They
don't
have
know, man.
75 mulligans, but they can only use a mulligan like once per each turn where they're trying to get 41.
Okay.
So yeah, that could be. This could be another Jersey Jerry type experience in terms of
All right,
like
if you
36
can hit
hours.
5 in a row, I think they can hit 41 in a row. I'm not too worried.
Collectively.
What up, guys? It's Whit, and it's DraftKings time. We are so excited to be a partner of DraftKings. We're back in the gambling space, and thanks to DraftKings, we're here with a vengeance. And we are so excited to announce this partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings will be our one-stop shop for all things betting. This week, new customers who deposit $5 or more can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 on any sport. What's a no-sweat bet? It's just like getting a rebound. You miss your first shot, you get another chance to score with a bonus bet back. You can also follow what all of your favorite Barstool personalities are betting on by joining the Barstool betting group on DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code Chiclets, CHICLETS. New customers can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 if your first bet loses. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code Chiclets. The crown is yours.
Got to go back to Toronto. I feel like last week our heads were still in the clouds a little bit. Stories come to you a couple days later. Is the memes guy available or what?
Guys, we wanted to get Chiclets Memes on last week, but he wasn't able to do it live because he thought we were still recording at Gretzky's basement because his head was up his ass because he was probably still in party mode because he was playing tummy sticks with Tate McRae. And we didn't really get the full story of how you ended up meeting her at Paris, Texas is the name of the club. So we got Dale Morningstar, a.k.a. Chiclets Memes on.
A.k.a. Danica's brother.
A.k.a. yes. So we're going to talk about your where do you want to start, Memesy? Do you want to talk about the Red Wings? You want to talk about your hot sister? Are you adopted? Like, how does this work?
Best friends with Will Arnett? I mean...
Yeah.
Well,
are you living in L.A. now?
Going to Hollywood next week. Yeah. I'm basically on the Epstein list.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go.
Oh, take
Holy
two.
shit, Memes.
Memes, you can't come in that hot, buddy.
Yeah. Sorry.
So let's talk about Danica.
Yeah. So Jens goes, "What happened to you?" And I was like, "How'd I come out even hotter?" We left that part out.
Dale, we got to ask you, like, what was the movie you were pitching to Will during dinner that night? You had him in absolute stitches.
Yeah, it's Jason Bjorn. It's basically like MacGruber, but it's Jason Bourne. So there's like Jason. I don't know the names of the movies, but there's a trilogy. So we got 3 movies to work with.
Okay, what's the premise?
It's the plot, yeah.
It's just Jason Bourne, but MacGruber style, where it's like a parody where he's like,
Folks, this is Memes in a nutshell right now. I mean, why don't you explain the scene that you explained to Will Arnett in terms of the swimming aspect of this movie?
yeah. So there's one scene where Bourne jumps out, like in the original Bournes. He jumps off like a cliff, like goes underwater, swims away. But in Bjorn, he just like hop out. He's like swimming, but he's not going anywhere. And then like the cops just arrest him. They're like, "All right, Bjorn, like we got you." There's not much of a script. It's pretty much like all on the name.
Well, that's important when you're pitching, a movie idea. It's
gonna
like
be
they
a
don't want to
10-minute
do
movie.
all the work. And if that's what you described to him, I can understand why he said that's the worst idea I've ever heard. But then also
That's why
agreed
it's all about pitching it.
well, did you pitch it exactly how you just did? Did you pitch it exactly how you just did?
Maybe. I can't remember. It's like a blur. I was like Will Ferrell. Like I blacked out after that dinner. I was like, what just happened?
Didn't he say, your name is Dale Morningstar? I want to make this movie about you making this movie. Like, didn't he want to make a movie about you making the movie? Right?
Yeah,
Was that the whole
that's
gist
why
of
I'm
it?
saying like the script doesn't matter. It's more about me pitching the script.
Fucking Werner Herzog shit. But
And
you were
there's
probably
no script that I'm pitching.
There's no other scene that you let him know about other than him not getting out of the water. How did he end up there in the first place? Why is there a boat scene? Like you got to give me a little more context here. I'm trying to get
I
my real
don't know.
space.
I got nothing else. I just got the
touch
name.
my screen right now.
Like you're telling me you thought of this, months ago, and you're like, this is genius, and then you just had Will Arnett in front of you. You decided to pitch it there, or is this something you
pitched
thought
it
of on
to,
the spot?
The Empty Netters. They were at for the Chiclets Cup, and me and Army were having like drinks with them, and they said they do like movie films, like scripts, and I was like, I got one for you, and I pitched Bjorn again. But there's no script. And then that night they went back to their hotel room and like made like a 3-page script. And then they sent it to me and Army.
We're stuck at 3
So
pages.
people are interested in the script.
I think they're very nice guys, and they're probably just being very kind.
Yeah.
And then they probably had
Yeah.
Chat GPT write the script for them and then handed it back to you to maybe give you a little bit more incentive to do some actual fucking work, like write a script. That would be my assumption, maybe to just give you a little pat in the ass. As far as Will Arnett, have you talked to him since you have left the All-Star game? Are you guys text buddies? How is this?
I haven't. I didn't even get his number. He dipped away quick.
Okay.
And then when he came on for the live show, right when he was leaving, Army and Merles were like walking out for the game notes, so I had to go and like film them. And he was like just talking to me, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I gotta go film them." Went and filmed them for the walkout, and then when I came back, he was gone.
And that
he might have left on purpose as you were kind of like preoccupied. He's like, "This is my time to get out of here." So back to Paris, Texas, the place I was in for about 17 minutes because of how packed it was. How did you meet Tate McRae? What was that interaction like? If it was similar to the Jason Bajorn pitch, I might throw up right now.
And we might cut it from the pod. Now, from my understanding, she was there with a boyfriend or a date.
She was there with Kid Leroy, who's like one of the most famous guys in the world. And the crazy part was
without
a doubt.
What the fuck are you smoking, bro? I never even heard of him.
Who the fuck is
I would say Kid Leroy is one of the biggest musicians in the world right now.
Okay, you said one of the most famous people in the world.
And then also the biggest musicians where I've also never
Semantics. Heard of them. But the crazy part is we had a table, and at one point we look over, and Memesy has Tate McRae on our table. And we're like, what the fuck how did Dale get her over here? So Memesy, why don't you tell how it all happened?
Is she a bottle rat, Dale?
No, she didn't even accept drinks. Like I was like, do you guys want a drink? And she's like, no, like she's probably like maybe someone that didn't look like you offered.
Yeah, you're stirring it with your finger. She's probably like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Heat daddy style.
Like I went and ripped a piss and then came out of the bathroom, and like as I'm coming out, there's like some guy and he's like, Memesy, I love you. You're the man. Can I get a picture? So he made a stick, and I was like, yeah, sure. Like took a picture, and then he's like looking at his phone and he's like, dude, that's Tate McRae right beside you. And then I was just like, oh, fuck. And I was like, Tate, like, what's up? Like, I heard you coming on the pod. And she's like, yeah, for sure. And it was literally like 5 seconds. Like, and she was walking up towards our table. And then, like, I was like, yo, this is our table. Do you want a drink? And she's like, no. There's pretty much nothing here.
That was just Memes. I got a question for you. As a guy who I've long pumped his tires, you're crushing our social media. The memes page is excellent. All your posts on Twitter. How do you not have internet that works?
You in the Northwest
My
Territories?
internet not working?
I mean, it's working as well as G saying Kid Leroy is the most famous person in the world.
I have 1,500 gig. I have the best Rogers internet you can get. It's either Rogers or Bell.
Yeah, ever since Riley's suspension, they fucking kicked it down a few notches to pay for his fine, to pay for his up and coming fine. So you're fucked. Jump on Fido or something.
I have the best internet I can buy.
Okay, a few more things we got to ask you about. The Detroit Red Wings. Give us a little synopsis on how you feel the season's going. That's your team. Are you even watching?
Like at the start of the year, remember when we did all the picks and I was like, oh yeah, I'm not going to go in. It's because you guys were like pumping up all the other teams. And then I was like, oh, fuck, like Wings aren't going to make it. And if these guys are all like, oh, these are doing well.
Because our picks are so bang
because we're awesome at that.
Yeah. Well, I think they're going to sneak in.
Why? Do you have anything about their game?
Like it's Steve Yzerman, like he has it's been like 3 years of them like being like rookies kind of, and now they're finally getting into like the sophomore years, I guess. And they're just like a solid team up and down.
Third year's
it's not
junior,
like Leafs where
okay.
They're like top heavy. They got Big D at the back.
Okay.
What do you think of? Are you a fan or are you not loving the gritty that Wallman does when he scores big goals, including the OT winner?
That's kind of tough.
Oh, really? Okay, I thought you'd be down with that.
It's hard. Like I don't like mind it, but like I personally wouldn't be doing the gritty.
No, you'd like read the referee a movie script you have that has no script.
It's called Bjorn on the 4th of July.
All right, memes.
Memes.
You got anything else for this guy, Biz?
No, I was going to ask you, were you aware that there was a guy who showed up to the event at King Taps on the Friday who was trying to DJ our event, who was never hired to DJ the event? And he then, no, you don't have any idea about that?
No.
Okay. So you're just there following us around for the party.
Biz, I can give you some background on that if you want.
Okay. That does it,
Memesy.
buddy. So Tate McRae did confirm she's coming on the pod. You probably didn't get her number either, so I don't know how we're going to get her on here. So I don't know, this little summary was pretty much useless.
Good job, Memes.
Great job, Memesy. Keep crushing social, buddy. We love you. Great breakdown of the wings.
Sick
Take
internet,
care, buddy.
Memes.
Gee, what was it? Our buddy Joe, who DM'd Jeff? DJ Joe thought he was hired. What was the deal here?
Yeah, we call him DJ Joe is what we're calling him, just based after GM Joe. And yeah, so the Barstool crew that was at the King Taps event, we got a call, Jeff Jacobson in particular, and he's getting a call and they're like, hey, the DJ's here that you hired. Jeff's like, I didn't hire a fucking DJ. And so then he gets a DM from the kid, and the kid's like, to DM Jeff Jacobson, like, it's tough to find this guy's Instagram. It's not easy. So he DMs Jeff on Instagram and he says, hey, can you call me right now? And he's like, no, like, did you just say that I hired you to DJ at the event tonight? And the kid's like, yes. Jeff's like, absolutely not. I'm not hiring you. You're not hired. It doesn't work like that. So yeah, so basically we have another GM Joe, a kid trying to DJ the event at King Taps, and threw Jeff Jacobson's name around, then tried to DM him, trying to slide in the back door, and it just didn't work out.
Well, there you go.
Fucking scam
There
artist.
you go. We got
He gave it a
lot of
shot.
slimy
Jesus.
people showing up to our events.
DJ
Jesus
Schmo.
Christ.
Was he possibly the one getting the wheels beat off him by the bouncers?
No,
He was not.
Okay.
No, a different guy. I saw the guy's picture. He wasn't. I would be interested to hear maybe a little 45 snippet, like a big booty mix version of what this DJ can provide. And if he sends it our way, maybe moving forward, I would consider letting him DJ for free at one of our events. But I mean, you can't just show up unsolicited, guys, and be working for us. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Maybe we got to stop talking about it so people stop doing it. So this is the second incident. So enough of that if you're listening.
Saturday night, I think I told you, I was at a house party, and a dude comes up to me. He's like, hey, you should have my dad on the podcast. I was like, oh, who is he? He's like, Steve Simmons. It was legit his son. I was like, really? He's like, no, 100%.
Steve Simmons?
100%. It was legit his kid. He's like, I go, for real? He goes, 100%. He was like laughing. I think he knows like our stance on him, whatever. He goes, no, you should definitely get him on. I almost shit myself. He like that his own son wanted to have
I
him
would
on.
get Steve Simmons on if we also got Spectre, and then they went after one another on who has a better team, the Leafs or Oilers.
Ooh.
But
Everybody reads spec.
everybody.
Biz, any like random thoughts that you thought of a couple days later after Toronto, or did you get it all
No,
out last
just
week?
to summarize, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had with the Chiclets crew. It might be number one. It was so fun. It was just incredible energy, and I think it would be safe to say that it's the most lively and energetic I've seen the city since pre-COVID. And COVID kind of took a big chunk out of Canada's spirit. I think it went on a little bit too long as far as the lockdowns and everything. I think it fucked with a lot of people's heads, and it seems like Canada is back up and running, and everybody has their energy and spunk back from all the bullshit. So it was awesome. It was a great time, and I won't forget it. And thank you everybody who made it a special event.
There was a little spunk taken out of the city of Toronto on Saturday night, though, Biz.
Couple
in
times.
Ottawa, in which Morgan Riley
Oh,
acted
for
like
fuck's sakes.
a
All right,
menace
let's get
to
to it. Let's
society.
get to it, all right.
Dive
Tee us
in.
up.
Major fireworks. The end of the game, Battle of Ontario. What's his name? Ridley Gregg, slap shot into the empty net to make it 5-3, puts a fucking bow on it. Then Morgan Riley, of all people, he's got 8 penalty minutes all season, fucking creams him, cross-check right to the head. He goes down, big melee afterwards. He's going to have a hearing, in-person hearing he has the option of, so he might get 6 games or more for this. Sheldon Keefe, after the game, said his reaction was appropriate. Biz, was it appropriate, over the top? Did everybody do what they were supposed to there or what?
I mean, so it's the Battle of Ontario, right? So regardless of the playoff situation that Ottawa's in, every time these two teams meet, there's fireworks, right? They're incredible games. People are fired up for them. At the end of the game, to do that on an empty netter, yeah, it's a big fuck you. We beat you, get the fuck out of our building, and rightfully so. You've earned the 2 points. Do I like Morgan Riley's reaction of maybe going up to him and kind of shoving him and then squaring off and dropping the gloves? Absolutely. A cross check to the neck head area, it's overkill. And we often talk about this. So Morgan Riley's playing probably on average 25 minutes a night. So it's at the end of the game. He's out there with the goalie pulled. He ends up doing the back check where he's already gassed. When you have limited amount of oxygen going to your brain, sometimes you make some bonehead decisions. And I like where his head was at in a sense of going up to and challenging him. But you just got to keep your stick down, and that's not how you handle the business. Like, I don't understand why you just wouldn't go shove him and try to square off, and or even to drop your one glove and keep your right glove on and then fucking bop him in the head with your glove to like in a punch. Just and now Toronto's back end is already a little bit thin. And this is a guy who's almost at a point a game as a defenseman. He hits he hits every area of their back end. He plays power play. He plays penalty kill. He'll block shots. He'll stick up for teammates. As I just mentioned, he's averaging about, I think there's only one game this year he's played below 20 minutes. So how do you fill that spot? And if we're going back to last year, if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs, take the 6-game break. Take the 8-game break. I don't know how much it's going to be, but because it was an in-person hearing that he was offered, we're talking minimum above 5 games, right? That's the rule.
They
It's
don't
gonna be
have
above
to,
it.
but they can now. They can
Yeah.
they can go over 5 now.
Yeah,
but they don't
right.
have
some
to.
more. Yeah.
And I feel like they've been fairly lenient on this type of stuff, like all the aggressive stuff this year. The probably only other example I have of it is Perron going after Zub in Ottawa when that incident happened where Larkin got hit by Joseph, and the precedent is there. So, like I said, going back to last year with the playoff position that they were already in, getting Morgan Riley, the rest wouldn't have been a bad thing. This year, they're fighting. They're in a wild card right now, and they got teams nipping at their heels. I mean, the Islanders are going to start making a move here. They've been playing great hockey. They're fucking out shooting. They're getting 40 shots some games now. They look like a totally different team. So the wins are going to start rolling in. Memesy just came on and gave us a wonderful breakdown of what the Detroit Red Wings got going on. They might be nipping at their heels for that playoff spot. So, guys, there is a strong possibility if that doesn't galvanize the group in Toronto and make everybody look themselves in the mirror and say, hey, we need to fucking pick up our slacks here. We're going to have this stud on the back end out for about 6-7 games now. And they could be on the outside looking in, guys. And it's tough news in Toronto. But this is also not a terrible thing. I talk about facing adversity at the right times in the season and getting through it. This next 10-game block is going to tell me everything I need to know about the Toronto Maple Leafs. So hopefully Nylander can get back to his ways of before he signed that deal. He has been a little bit better as of late, stumbled out of the gates after signing that big ticket. But the core 4, you fucking better be activated up front. Because if you're not, it's doomsday for Toronto, and it's going to be a fucking media circus if they miss playoffs. If they miss playoffs, Keith's gone. I would assume everybody in management gets a pass until next year. But yeah, it's not looking good. What did you make of it all, Whit?
So obviously 2 sides to this. You did that was a wonderful breakdown, very similar to Memes' Detroit description. But
yeah,
if you go back to Marchand with the what Leafs fan called the slew foot against Liljegren in Boston, the reaction was horrible, right? We had Bertuzzi laughing on the bench. We had no one do a thing to Marchand. It was just the typical old Leafs, as everyone called them, doing nothing, not caring, and just letting things slide by. Well, this was the exact opposite. And for people who aren't aware, putting in the empty netter goal the way Ridley Gregg did, that is a giant fuck you. That is an unwritten rule of terms of like, we are just shoving this right in your face. Now, mind you,
it's basically saying, suck my dick with a Zyn pouch in your top lip. That's what it's telling you.
Mind you, Ottawa played Toronto 4 times this year. They beat them 3, all in regulation. They scored 18 goals in the 4 games, and Ottawa sucks. I mean, this is a legit bottom 5 team in the NHL. So right there, boom, we just dummied you for the season series. We worked you at home on a Saturday night. Tavares has not scored a 5-on-5 goal in 25 games now. Boom. If you want to celebrate an empty net goal like that, you're more than welcome to. But it is a giant fuck you. It's a slap in the face. And the fact that Riley did something after the Liljegren incident when nothing happened, that is a good thing for the Leafs. That is Morgan Riley showing that he cares, which I think Leafs fans complain about a little bit. Where's the passion? Where's the ability for you to prove to us that you care and you're pissed off? Well, he showed it. And Biz, you said it best. All he had to do was just go punch him in the face, glove on, glove off, push him into the dasher. But when you go to the cross-check to the melon, right away I thought Perron on Zub. And that's why I think he'll get 6 games. Now, what's funny is Leafs fans are under the impression that the Department of Player Safety is like out to get them. They think that they want to make it clear, and Paris wants to make it clear that they're not giving preferential treatment to Toronto, so he goes overboard a little bit. I think after you saw what Perron did, this is basically the same exact thing, right? Would you not say? It's a cross-check to the face that, while in players' terms may be warranted, in terms of the league and the player safety office, it's not warranted. Like, the guy scored an empty net goal. They don't care how he did it. That's not part of them looking at the rules of suspension. They look at a cross-check to the face in terms of, well, a guy's celebrating a goal. If he had done it any other way, it would have been awesome. And even Sheldon Keefe, he's backing his player. He says it was appropriate. Fuck that. That's bullshit doing that. But now you lose this guy for probably 6 games. I would guess it'll be 6 games. And I don't even necessarily think that Perron should have got 6 games. I think if Perron got 4 and Riley got 4, I'm fine with that. If they go over 6 and over Perron's, then Leafs fans have a reason to explode and to be melting down online in terms of the punishment towards the Leafs. There was actually a play in the COVID bubble. It was 2021, March of 2021, at the end of an Edmonton-Toronto game. Chason from Edmonton went up to Vesey, Jimmy Vesey, while he was still in the Leafs. They're jawing at each other and cross-checks him in the face. He only got 1 game. So that's something that Leafs fans are talking about. They're going back to that clip and being able to say, this is what happens when you do it to a Leaf. You get way less games. Well, I don't know, man. Times have changed, and the Perron suspension, it set the precedent for what's going on this year when you talk about stick work to the face, and I think he's going to end up getting 6 games, and it sucks for the Leafs, man. They can't afford to lose this guy. This guy, like you said, Biz, he does it all. He's playing fantastic hockey, and now you got, the decor right now is just... you got to hope Liljegren steps up with Brody, and then you can keep McCabe and Benoit. They don't move the puck great. I don't know if you saw the turnover Benoit had against the Dallas Stars last week.
Well, I don't want him handling the puck. I know,
but that's the problem. McCabe doesn't handle it well either, and that's a pairing, the second pairing right now. So they got a lot of issues in terms of getting... You need star forwards, need the puck with speed, tape to tape. That's why I was able to play a couple years in Pittsburgh. There was one thing I could do.
That's why fucking Edmonton's thriving right now, right?
Yeah.
And you read the Stauffer tweet. When you got guys who are meat and potatoes, it's like, well, we know they're going up the wall. When we know they're not transitioning their forwards up the middle, snapping it through the seams. So they seem to be a one-trick pony when they don't have Morgan Riley on the ice. And this isn't a shot at Giordano either. The fact that he's even still playing is remarkable. But I think that in any type of team that wants to make a run, he's like a 6 to 7, where maybe even some games he's getting rest and not in the lineup. In this case, they're going to need him down this little stretch here without Morgan Riley. But I think that when you got him at about 15 minutes a game as your 6th guy, is right where you want him. So I don't know, man. Why don't we jump into the rumor boys? I keep hearing Hanifin's name popping up.
Yeah,
I don't know where he.
G,
let's throw it over to G. You got the rumor boy.
Rumor boy number 2.
I've heard a few things on Noah Hanifin. I'll give you 3 teams. I've heard the Toronto Maple Leafs. I've heard the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I've heard the New Jersey Devils, and I've heard the New Jersey Devils are very close on Markstrom as well right now. So maybe there's a Hanifin-Markstrom
Elliott
deal
was talking about that, but he said that there was a lot of talks going on Saturday night and Hockey Night in Canada, and he said it's kind of sizzled off a little bit. Markstrom being the big piece, I imagine, with Hanifin, that would be a blockbuster deal. Markstrom's been incredible this year. He's been outstanding. And Hanifin, I would say, right with Gensel in terms of the top guy at the deadline that a team would want, right?
I think it's a no-brainer because Markstrom's got a no move, right? So he has to waive that. And he doesn't like to be bothered in the midst of the season as well, as something that Elliott said. So unless it's something very serious, they wouldn't have brought it to him. I would tell you this. If you get Markstrom and Hanifin for New Jersey and they get healthy And, a few of their guys who have gotten these contracts who aren't playing up to snuff end up picking up a little bit. That's a team in a wild card situation that could go on to win a Stanley Cup. Like, they have some fucking guys up front who can motor. And even their back end is pretty so that is it Nemec?
Yeah, he's sick.
He's incredible.
Like, if you look at all of his underlying numbers, he's even been more impressive since he's been called up than what Luke Hughes is bringing. And even he's been tremendous. So that would be huge. And we had that Wednesday broadcast, and I don't know if it's time to shift it over to that whole broadcast and what happened in that New York Rangers Tampa Bay game. Sergachev, who had missed 17 games, had worked his balls off to come back. And if you watch Tampa Bay, guys, some people might even say he's more valuable than Hedman when he's fully healthy and going, just maybe with how Hedman slowed down a little bit based on his age. Hey, is he still a top 20, 30 defenseman in the league? Absolutely. But Sergachev is a fucking specimen. So he works hard to come back, and in his first game back, man, he takes a reverse hit from Lafreniere, and we didn't show the opposite angle more than one time. We showed it once.
I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, it looked like a nothing burger from the angle that they normally show on the broadcast, and which is like up top on the concourse looking towards the benches. But man, sometimes when the blades get caught and you're going down, it'll twist your leg and ankle one way and your body's going another. The minute you saw it, you knew that something was broken. And apparently now it's two different bones that were broken in his ankle. I think it would need a prayer and maybe Aaron Rodgers' mindset to maybe be ready for fucking playoffs. But now he's probably done for the year. And if you're Tampa Bay, that core is so valuable to them because they don't really have the depth in which they did in the past, unless they're able to pull a rabbit out of their ass at the deadline. But just a ridiculous loss for them, where I don't see them being able to compete for a Stanley Cup unless they find a way to replace him. And Hanifin would be the only answer out there that would be available.
Yeah, that's a monster deal, though. I don't know what they have to give up now. The problem is, too, you talk about the core and you talk about what's going on in Tampa. Like, Stammer's a UFA, and they've made it very clear he's not going anywhere, but you don't know what's going to happen this summer. You don't know if he's disgusted by their offer, and I imagine he wants to stay and retire at Tampa Bay Lightning, but this is the 1 year where it almost makes sense to somehow do whatever you can to get Hanifin, thinking that if we get in with Vasilevsky and Hanifin replacing Sergachev, we could still go on this run. It was so brutal to see. And it's one thing to see that, and then it's the other thing to be your first game back from 17 games, man. It's like Sergachev's Instagram post was probably the most honest, revealing Instagram post I've ever seen an athlete make. Do you guys want me to read it?
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Again.
So if anyone hasn't seen this, I'm sure most people listening have seen this, considering it was a few days back, but he posted a picture of himself getting stretchered off the ice. He's got his head in his hands. He's just disgusted. He says, "Oh man, why me? Why now? After all the games missed, coming back and getting injured again. Feels unfair. Feels terrible. Trying to stay calm and positive, but it's impossible. After doing everything right, I get this. The universe is unpredictable, I guess, and has its own plans. But fuck the universe, man. I know I'll come back stronger, and I know I'll play better than before. But it's tough right now, and it's going to be tough tomorrow. We all fight our own battles, and this is mine. I'll win. Always do. Pain meds are good, though. I'm assuming he had some ripping when he was writing this post. If I was in this forest by myself, I'd be dead. Crazy, isn't it? Wanted to write how I feel here. Don't know why, but just wanted to let people that care about me know. I appreciate all your messages. Thanks to the medical staff.
I mean, he must have been on RA stuff if he's telling the universe to fuck off.
Leave Jupiter
They
alone.
print the shirts. I kind of like that saying, fuck the universe.
Fuck the
Fuck
universe.
the universe.
Yeah.
That's tough karma right there. Not for him, but for if we were going to make shirts, fuck the universe, I ain't wearing that one.
I think
But-
Taylor Swift would wear it, given all the carbon emissions she's putting off with those private jets.
It was, dude, Biz, absolutely gut wrenching. Yeah, he broke his tibia and fibula. They haven't given a timetable yet. It probably doubtful he'll be back. But I thought, in that heartbreaking moment, I thought it was really nice how the Rangers were out there, and Lafreniere went over. He didn't just give him a stick tap. He had some words with him. It was just amongst this awful scene. It was kind of nice just to see these guys forget their opponents and their peers, and they're all on the same fucking team at the end of the day, the same union.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It was just kind of like a
There was no
heartwarming scene
bad
amongst the
play.
heartbreaking
There was nothing
scene.
involved that was dirty. It was a nice reverse hit, and And it was just awful, awful luck, as he mentioned. And it just sucks to see a guy that's that important, that fun to watch go down in horrific fashion. I mean, buddy, you guys are mentioning back in playoffs. There isn't a chance in hell. That's like probably a 6-month
I know.
injury.
That's why I said if he has the Aaron Rodgers mindset and the hyperbaric chambers and all that and all the other stuff,
ayahuasca.
the dark room.
Special medicine.
But RA, going back to your point about that, obviously great to see. And from somebody who had to put that mask on every game where you're running around and you're almost trying to fabricate hate for each individual out there. And when something like that happens, even if it's the other team, that whole guard just drops. It's gut wrenching for everybody involved on the ice. And usually the rest of the game is just everybody just, hey, heads up, I'm coming in for a hit. Like nobody wants to touch anybody just based on what they've seen. And it was ugly and it took all the energy right out of the building. And good thing though we had Chelly in studio who brought the energy that night. Oh my God. Did you hear that story he told about when he was first? So should we roll? Oh, I guess we can't roll them. We got to tell it ourselves. But so it was that series way back when Detroit had gotten the first overall seed and Vancouver got the 8th seed, and they were up 2-0 in the series, and it went back to Vancouver, and Kluche ended up letting in that goal from center ice, that Lidstrom shot. And Chelly even described, he said, we were watching the post game scrum. And the minute they saw Kluche get asked that question and his answer, they're like, motherfucker, we got this series. And then they ended up coming back. I think they ended up rattling off 4 straight and winning in 6, right?
Yep.
And in the whole series, Chelios was just getting the boo birds. I don't think he mentioned on whether it was he delivered a dirty hit or hit someone. It just, they seem to have this organic hate for Chelly every time he touched the puck. So they make the mistake in game 6. He was unbelievable. 4 assists. He gets the first star. So, you come out for the little lap and you wave quickly and then you're back down the tunnel. Well, Chelly says, oh, you want to fucking boo me all series? Well, we're sending you guys packing. So he does this huge lap and he's just waving to the crowd like he just won the tiara. What's the
Miss America?
Yeah, Miss America. And even when he got back on the bench before he got down the tunnel, he gets both hands going. Big double barrel fuck you to the Vancouver crowd. So he told that story. I thought it was incredible, along with a few others. Did you get a chance to watch it, RA?
Oh yeah, I had the game on that night, dude. I'm psyched that he's there because ESPN. It's just not the same when you guys fucking crush it on there. Like he's more unfiltered. And Chelios, I feel once he gets a little more comfortable, he'll fucking share a few more stories like that, a little off the beaten path stuff. He's hilarious. I wonder if he remembers that the night fucking in 08. Like he's the dude who had the security guys back when they threw me out of the locker room that second time. I don't know if he remembers that, dude. They guy chucked me over the threshold. I turned on. I was like, all right, I'm leaving. And Chelios was like getting his back. He thought probably someone was like crashing the locker room or whatever. Like I mentioned to him before, but yeah, I was a little bit, but it was just hilarious.
Was crashing the locker room.
Well, dude, there's this dude that night where it's kind of like it was kind of weird cosmic energy. Obviously, you were in the other locker room. I was there. Babcock was the coach. He walked in the room and I was like, "Hey, congrats, coach." He's like, "Oh, thank you." Like, didn't know I wasn't supposed to be there. Then Chelios comes in to get the security guards back. It's just kind of all this like Chiclet shit happened before Chiclets was even a thing way back in the day. I know it was a tough night for you, buddy, but just kind of weird though. Like, Babcock, Chelios, all this fucking craziness that went on.
RA, I feel like there's nothing in the world you love bringing up more that you were in the opposite locker room as Whit when he lost the Stanley Cup. I feel like it gets brought up once a week.
No,
which makes me think that cringe tweet wasn't towards me, and it was actually towards Whit Dog.
I'm a man of my word. I stand up. I back what I say. I would have fucking said if I was calling them cringe, but I don't do it weekly, but I do once in a while.
Moving on,
I got on him, man. Moving on.
One of my most heartbreaking moments in life. The other one being the 2010 Olympics. Jonathan Quick, guys, is I don't care what Panarin's done. I think he's the MVP of the Rangers so far. And if they didn't have him, and they didn't have him carrying this team through January and February, and basically all season the way Shesterkin's played, they don't sit in the position they do right now. Now, I look to him and I look to that signing and everyone being like, possible future Hall of Famer, going back to his favorite team growing up. He's going to be the backup. He's not going to play much. Cool story. This guy has been lights out. playing incredible. Now, I don't know if he could continue to do it throughout the rest of the season and into the playoffs at his age and what he's been through. But without him, I don't even know if they sit in the top 3 in the Atlantic right now. I mean, the Metro, I know it sounds crazy considering they're right up at the top, but he's been so good that you're able to overlook what's considered the best goalie, or if not the top 3 goalies in the league, having just a horrific season so far. So if you look to the Rangers and all their fans and wondering what's going on with Shesterkin, thankfully, they have this guy that's kind of going to allow him to hopefully play through and figure out what's going on and be able to come out on the other side better and be ready for a playoff run. So Jonathan Quick signing with them as a nothing burger story around free agency has turned into just a masterful move by Chris Drury. So that's incredible to see. The other story that's kind of broken the news in terms of the Rangers is this clown owner of theirs, James Dolan, who despises us, who despises Barstool Sports, who owns the Sphere, apparently not allowing Drury to include the first-round pick the Rangers have in this summer's draft in possibly getting Lindholm to the Rangers because he wants his first-round pick at the Sphere.
Now, this is rumor boy. Is this rumor boy?
I've seen it enough where it's not just us being rumor boys. Maybe it's everyone being rumor boys on this, but it's been out there in terms of him saying this. Maybe it was proven to be not true, and if that's the case, I apologize.
Well, this sphere. How do you say it? Sphere?
Oh, this word owns you.
Sphere.
Yeah.
It was over budget, cost over $1 billion to make. I think it was actually close to $2 billion. So you're saying he wants the attention and Rangers fans to be tuning in for a first round draft pick
that will probably be like the 26th pick or whatever,
as opposed to maybe picking up Lindholm. Listen, that guy, he can't be that stupid. There's no way he's that stupid.
Dumb motherfucker.
That's
guy,
why I'm
dude.
hashtagging rumor boy, and it's probably
Darren
not really
Dreger
true.
reported it. Darren Dreger reported it. That's he's pretty legit.
Darren Dreger is very legit. He's also one that reported there was a chance that Crosby was going to end up in Colorado with Nate McKinnon, which I hopped on board, and then I looked like an idiot. So, like everything, I'm going to hop on this, and I'm going to agree with Darren Dreger that Dolan is a bit of a goof, and he probably did this just to sell a few extra tickets to U2 and watch his 26th overall pick turn into nothing, just like most of their first-round picks do.
Well, he does have eye recognition fucking technology in his build at the MSG. So if people he doesn't like come into the build, that he gets them thrown out. Literally, he had like lawyers that he had a beef with before. They went to a Knicks game and they have that facial recognition shit. They recognized these people.
What?
He had them thrown out of the fucking building.
I bet you they would do that to Biz. I guarantee it. I've talked to his son before. They know who you are, Biz. They don't like you. I'm telling you, if you walk into MSG, I bet you they boot you out in a second.
I actually can't. This guy's a goon, but if I owned a team, I would. That technology, that's incredible. Like all of a sudden, you just have to have this like these cameras look around for people you don't like and you just boot people out. That's pretty cool. If you don't even have to do any work, it's just facial recognition. I mean,
and he had
I should
Charles
test
Oakley.
it out.
I might put that in my house for when my kids are treating me like shit, and all of a sudden you boot their ass out.
I'm going to do a Rangers Islanders game at MSG and see if I can make it out alive.
Let's track him down at Stadium Series next week, Biz. We'll be there.
Yep.
Well, I don't think we mentioned earlier. Tomorrow night, boys, Chiclets cast. First ever. TNT is carrying Pittsburgh, Florida. We are going to be on True TV and Max streaming, doing our little fucking version of the game. Boys, I am fucking jacked up for this. Like, what's the game plan? We're just going to like
all right,
off
we're
the
going to
cuff, off the
stream a
riff?
game like we've done 40 fucking million times before, and Whit mentioned it about 3 minutes into the podcast. We are doing the Chiclets cast through Turner, TNT, baby, True TV. It's going to be a fucking blast. I've said it once. I'll say it a million times. Cancel your dinner plans with your old lady. Get a nice little steak, maybe even order in some food. DoorDash, whatever you got to do to keep her in the house to watch this telecast. It'll be the best night of your lives.
And
We're
give
even
her
gonna
a Zen.
Give her a
fuck out
top
of it.
to upper deckies in. Get some flowers, maybe a foot massage, just like how RA massages his aunt's feet all the time with the CBD cream, and his mom and his sister. Let's go. Chiclets telecast, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Pittsburgh Penguins against the Florida Panthers. Be there or be square. We're going to have special guests, and it's going to be a blast. That's how you fucking promo, RA. That's how you fucking promo.
That was
Pump
like
the fuck out of
the
it,
Rock
buddy.
and Roman
That was-
Reigns and that Cody guy
Yeah,
just setting
that
up
was-
this WrestleMania match. Good work, Biz.
WWF shit. Back to quick for a second. 12-4-2 with a 919 save percentage, 227 goals against, 2 shutouts, and 9 of his 18 stats. He's got a 923 save percentage or better. He's just been unreal. What do you think he's like going to be the playoff starter game 1, or is Shesterkin going to get the crease back by then?
I don't know.
I don't know. Put you on the spot. All right.
I have no idea.
Wah.
I mean, I think Rangers fans are hoping that it's Shesterkin because that means he's really found his game. My whole point of what I mentioned about Quick is if it turns out to be him, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, and they're lucky that they have him.
What he's trying to say is you trade Shesterkin at the deadline. You finally get a good third-line setter because that's probably what you can get for him right now, and you move on. That's it. Let's go. Go Rangers, go. Dolan will probably clear that one too. Moving along.
I want to give a little shout out to Jimmy Veazey, friend of the program. He's been unreal. He's getting, I think, 21 ice time per game, making $800,000. He's got 11 goals, 5 assists. 4 of his goals are game winners, but he's just been like one of those like businesses, Swiss Army knife, utility knife, whatever phrase you want to use. He's been a nice little sign, so I just want to give him a little tip of the cap for his play this year. What's up? What'd you say?
I said, let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby. Also, the Rangers waived veteran forward Nick Bonino for the purposes of terminating his contract. The 35-year-old two-time Cup winner, he had 5 points in 45 games. He was assigned to Hartford, didn't want to go. The Rangers let him think it over during All-Star break, so he's a UFA right now. I would think he'd be a nice pickup for like a nice veteran ad for the playoffs. I mean, this guy's been through all the battles. Like, might not start the game, but he's a nice little thing to have in the draw, right?
Yeah. Bonino. How you could do it better? Bonino. Can you say it, Whit? Fast?
The Indian broadcast that they had?
Yeah. I can't do it.
Bonino. I'm not that great at it either, but that was excellent when they were doing that.
Gee, you want to give it a spin?
Bonino.
No. R.A., I'm not even going to try you.
Bonino. Hello, everybody. Bonino.
You guys heard about this Chiclets cast? All right, give us a Bonino. Actually, try it. People want to hear it in the car who are driving.
Bonino.
Wow.
That was the best one.
There we go, all right.
That was the
Welcome
best
back.
one.
+1.
I think you could, I mean, I don't know if anyone will. He might be just ready to be done, but bring him in. Depth guy, probably wouldn't be in the lineup at the beginning. You get a bunch of injuries. You throw him in, 4th line. He's Stanley Cup winner. Don't hate that idea.
Yeah.
Not at all. Biz, the late game that night, Chicago, Minnesota, you had the Foligno brothers little head-to-head matchup. That was a pretty funny
Thank God
they had
for them.
before.
Holy,
Oh
I think I would have
God.
fell asleep in studio if it wasn't for them in the show. They both put on a show during the game just as much as before the game.
Did they both fight? Someone fought.
No,
so Tenorti
Marcus
fought.
did.
Tenorti fought Marcus, right?
Yep.
And Nick didn't fight, did he?
No, I
No.
think that he was about to square off with someone. There was a time where he did get locked up with someone. I was hoping that both guys were going to have a goal in a fight, get the Foligno brother, kind of their version of the Gordie Howe hat trick. But man, Minnesota, oof, they look slow, man. This season's a full write-off. I thought they were going to be a lot better. I talked about them in preseason. I thought they had an underrated D-core, but they've been decimated with some injuries too. Like you can't lose Sturgeon, and then I'm forgetting the other guy's name.
Spurgeon. Sorry.
Spurgeon. And who's the other D's name too? Who's pretty good? Brodeen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty
Brodeen.
nasty. So
He's sneaky nasty too.
Yeah. The only bright spot that's came out of this season for them is Faber. And he's going to be a stud lugging, 28 to 30 minutes for the
And Marco
foreseeable
Rossi,
future.
in terms of like showing that he could play in the NHL and score a little bit. Faber, I don't know. I think they said 6 more weeks for Bedard. Maybe that was 2-3 weeks ago, but it's going to come right down to the wire, Rookie of the Year. If Bedard comes back with maybe 20, 15 games to go and he gets another 15 goals or whatever, he probably gets it. But Faber is looking like a true number 1 defenseman. And so in terms of when the Suter-Parisi cap hits end and they get some things figured out, at least now like we got Spurgeon, we got Brodeen, we got Faber. That's 3 awesome defensemen. What sucks is the Patty Maroon injury because no matter what, a contender's grabbing him. It's the auto trip to the finals when he's on your team. And now, he's going to be injured, probably unable to be dealt. I don't know in terms of how serious the injury is, but that sucks for him. I love that guy. And what was my other thing with Minnesota? Great. What's the word? Party? Not party. That's for Fleury's 1,000th game. What is it called?
Ceremony.
Celebration.
Ceremony. Jesus Christ. Wait, I was kind
biz
of humming
brain.
today.
Upper decky.
But Upper Decky, that was awesome. I mean, he was getting a little emotional, and I don't know if you guys saw the painting that Sid gave him.
Oh, man.
That was
Unbelievable.
sick. I don't know. I wish we had the guy's name who did the painting, but Biz, did you see it?
I did see it. It was beautiful.
Oh, my
and just
God.
it was nice that they videoed the exchange too.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's a classier guy in the game than Sidney Crosby doing that for his old pal and just kind of seeing them rekindle the flame. I'd like to see Fleury get moved over to Pittsburgh, bring the band back together.
Ooh, Pittsburgh.
There you go.
Pittsburgh's headed. I don't know whether it's 2 years, 1 year, 3 years.
For hell?
They're going to be the worst team in the league by a mile for a long time when Sid's done. Like, I'm talking like Edmonton days of darkness when Whit was there.
Oof.
So that's going to just be such a kick in the dick for the Penguins fans. That's
Rumor
why
boys are hearing
sign
Jake Gensel could
and
be
just-
on the move.
What?
Said the rumor boys are hearing Jake Gensel could be on the move.
Well, that's been out there.
Potentially
Yeah.
the Vancouver Canucks.
Oh my God.
No, once they got Lindholm, they're done.
I don't know, man. I keep hearing Vancouver too, but I don't know what they would have to move off of in order to get him. I think that they got away. They got away with keeping one of their unbelievable prospects and not having
Wheelander,
to
the
move.
kid at BU. Shout
Right.
out BU in the Beanpot final tonight. He's a stud. I think he was 11th overall. He'd definitely be in that Gensel deal.
Imagine they get Gensel and then they don't bring back Gensel, Pedersen, or Lindholm. That is if they do, that is a possibility.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we keep talking
Oh, yeah.
about pushing all the chips in the middle for this season's run. If you're Vancouver, man, whoo, baby, I'd love to see them roll the dice. Now, just quickly going back to that Foligno pregame interview we did. We like doing the double, the doubleheader with both of them. Kind of a ricochet shot at Taylor Swift in one of their comments when they said both their wives are hotter.
I
Like,
love
but-
that though. Valentine's Day is coming up. Just shout out the wife. Give the wife
That's a
some love.
Look, you don't even got to mention her though.
I know.
Like, I don't even know how her
didn't
name
you
comes up.
But it was brought up because you mentioned the podcast with the Kelsey brothers. So it was kind of,
Which-
you put it in their brain.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yes.
I put that ricochet shot. Taylor Swift has to get mentioned because I
When
talk
you
about a
say
podcast.
Travis Kelsey now, Taylor Swift immediately subconsciously goes into people's brains.
So they've been brainwashed to hate her by Instagram, Twitter, and network television.
And
Great.
biz.
Okay. My apologies, everybody, for sparking up. I don't need Travis fucking beating me up now next time we see each other.
I
He's
did
been
look
kind in the
Travis
past.
Kelsey quickly in the post interview with Chris Berman, ESPN post Super Bowl interview with Mahomes and Travis Kelsey. Berman mentioned, hey, why do you guys got to go down by 10 in these Super Bowls? And he's like, yeah, it's like a 3-goal lead in hockey. He's a hockey guy. That's why we got to get him on because they're
Well,
hockey
not
people.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
yeah, it's not happening now.
What another thing from that game, Jumbotron shoutouts. Tyler Mott got one. A lot of people kind of irked by it. I know he played 9 games a couple years ago, 15 in the playoffs. Then his second stint with the Rangers, 24 regular season games, 7 more in the playoffs. He didn't get a Jumbotron shoutout the first time. He got one the second time. You're kind of sick of these, Whit Dog.
I'm pretty sure that I've began the charge against ridiculous Jumbotron welcome back moments in the NHL. And it might have been 2 years ago. I don't remember the one that really set me off. I think it all goes back to I never got one anywhere. I didn't get one in Pittsburgh. I didn't get one in Anaheim. I certainly wouldn't have got one in Edmonton had I gone back as a Florida Panther. But I was already sent down to the minors at that point when the Panthers traveled to E-Town. But it's just the Pierre Engvall one in Toronto. It's like, I guess now the teams have looked at it like if you ever step foot in this arena as a player for the home team and you wore our jersey, you're getting a shout out. And people kind of come at me like, why does this rattle you? Like, it doesn't, I mean, I'm on Twitter talking about it. It's not like I'm losing sleep over it. It just seems to me that it's a much lesser version of who gets a statue. It's like shout outs and big time Jumbotron announcement for players should be left for players who made an enormous impact for many years in a certain city. So Tyler Mott on the New York Rangers, I think you could ask diehard Rangers fans in 10 years and they may not remember that he played for them. No shot at Tyler Mott at all. Guy's a great player. He's in the NHL. He's had a good career. It's just, I don't know. It's jumped the shark a little bit is where I'll head.
I wonder if they run it by Mott. Like they should run it by the players being like,
That's
hey,
a good point. Hey, do you
play
want
your
one?
22 games, you okay? They're probably like, no, I'd rather not get that type of attention. Now, I had G, when we were on our outline call, ask Twitter and social media, what's the most ridiculous one? Now, people keep going back to the quick one when he went back to Columbus.
That
when
was
he
funny,
traded
though.
there.
Yeah,
that was
obviously
a
joke,
troll.
yeah.
That was just pure comedy. Now, what I think Mott might take the cake as most ridiculous one that was actually serious. Because you said he played how many games for the Rangers regular season to get this tribute? You say 22 games, RA?
His first
24.
Stint, yeah, his first stint there, he played 9 games regular season and then 15 in the playoffs. Then it was 24 games, 7 in the playoffs. So and 38 games with Ottawa in between those stints. So it is
as low as it gets.
That might
So the
be
Rangers have done it before, and they did it with Ryan Carpenter, who only played 22 games, and that's courtesy of Johnny Laz. He said, "A welcome back to Ryan Carpenter has just been shown on the MSG Jumbotron. He had only played 22 games for the team, so
Wait,
that's got to
saying,
be the worst."
once an Oiler, always an Oiler. They're taking it to heart, Rangers.
Yeah.
You put that jersey on for one game, you're getting a tribute video, whether you're even on the ice or maybe you're there just even watching in the crowd. They're going to find you and they're going to give you a standing O. So,
Or they're going to facial recognition you with their software and kick you right out of the building.
Get you right the fuck out of there. Well, Biz, I know one team that would give you a little shout out on the Jumbotron. Don't know what city or where it's going to happen, but the Coyotes, man, always something going on with this squad. Arena plans way up in the air. They're supposedly trying to buy a plot of land that they're going to fucking make some plans on. It's a total disaster. Marty Walsh, union president, is pissed off. The next deadline for me is tomorrow. He said it's now. It's right now. There was a piece of land in Mesa. There was a piece of land in Phoenix. There were 3 ballot questions in Tempe. None of that came to fruition. And Elliot Friedman, our buddy, says, I believe that there is something hard and fast in the place. I believe there is something hard and fast in place in the very near future. I think this could be into the ownership group there. So Elliot's talking about a new ownership group there. I don't know what you're hearing out there, Biz, but are they going to be there next year? 2 years? What's going on?
Oh, God.
It's
every
a
time I go in public here, like especially the open, like people ask me, like, what's going on? What's going on? I don't have a fucking clue. I did hear that they were going for 200 acres in that area in North Scottsdale. Then that acreage was too expensive. Now they're trying to condense it in half. So they're trying to get like about 100 acres in that same area, which would be cheaper. And I think that's all you would need. Now, Mark Cuban made an interesting comment. He thinks that the top of these, the TV deals, they've reached their peak, or at least the gradual increases where it's going to stay around where it is now. That's why I'm assuming he got off of his investment of the Dallas Mavericks, where these teams are going to be able to make their money is in the development side of where these arenas are and what you could put around them. That's what they're trying to do in Atlanta right now. They're trying to secure a bunch of land in Alpharetta where they would build all these condos around it. A good way to look at it. Bruins have done it. A good way to look at it, even from an Atlanta perspective, is they did it with the Braves. They built that new facility where they did along with all these restaurants. So it's a whole vibe, and you have all these people now living there where, what are you going to do? What are you going to do in North Scottsdale? What type of entertainment is there? Well, boom, pop up the rink. You got the team there, and you got enough people who have money where they have that secondary income where they can go splurge on tickets for events. So it would completely make sense, but I don't know what's going on with this ownership group. I don't know why they can't solidify a piece of dirt and continue. I don't know what their finances look like, but this keeps dragging out and out and out. I think when they originally planned to move into Tempe, it was going to be around a 4 to 5 year type thing. Well, they haven't even started the construction of the building. So how long are they going to let this bleed out here? I see this as something where the team is probably going to end up leaving, and then eventually a team will come back. That's where I'm at. It's nothing against this ownership group. Sometimes solidifying these big parcels of land, especially in areas that are growing like crazy. Like Scottsdale is probably one of the fastest growing areas in the entire country. Easily in North America. I think there's $5 billion builds happening in this area. So going back 15 years ago, that's not something that happened here. Whereas when you see $1 billion builds, this is happening in places like LA, like New York. So I don't think anything has progressed from a information perspective where we were a few weeks ago. This is more so if they don't end up figuring out this piece of land, I think that they're gone. I think that they're fed up, and I would imagine the paperwork that was signed when they did give ownership over, Bettman did have a clause in there where if they didn't figure stuff out, that they would either have to sell the team back to the league and or another person who's willing to buy it and move it. And I'm drawing a blank on his name, but the gentleman in Utah who
Ryan
owns
Smith.
Ryan Smith, who owns the Jazz, he's already offered $1 billion for the team, from my understanding. So he's got the money in order to do it, move it there, and they're going to build this whole new facility that has the basketball, the hockey, and then enough for all the youth sports in order to grow as well, like youth hockey and youth basketball.
Olympics too. Olympics are going
Olympics is going there, so they're going to keep the old barn, so they'll have 2 arenas there for the hockey portion of it. I think that Utah makes a lot of sense, and I think that at this point, to have an owner like that, it would be a good thing to move the team there. People will always be like, oh, it's not a big TV market. They'll have the local support from the community there, and they have a good owner. So that's all I got to say about that.
I think we've been doing this show coming up on 8 years, maybe this Super Bowl that just happened.
Yep.
And it's like, it's been a storyline the entire time. Marty Walsh said it best. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the players. It's embarrassing for the league. I mean, they've had different buildings. They've had different owners. They've had different team names. It's nonstop madness. And it's just, it's like you said, Biz, they'll be back. I mean, Elliott said it. Frank Saravalli said it. They will be back. Bettman is very adamant on a team in Arizona. So it'll happen. But this team, they're not going to be there next year. I just can't see it happening. It's time to move on. It's been a clusterfuck since the very beginning. Since the day Shane Doan put the shovel into what would be the arena in Scottsdale, and that went sideways with the free land in Glendale, it's been absolute disaster ever since. Mine, besides you, those couple runs that your teams went on, and maybe at the beginning when Roenick was still there and Kachuk. But overall, it just hasn't worked out. Get a new arena in the right spot, and I'm sure it could work out, but that's not happening right now. And also, I mean, these owners are going to make a ton of money. It's not like this is a loss for them, right? If Smith does end up moving them to Utah, they're making a nice chunk of change in terms of what they paid for.
Yeah, but I think they got the team for around $300 million, maybe.
So if he pays $1 billion for him, that seems like it's a lot.
Yeah, no, it's a ton of dough, and I just don't know how much of that money was put up front. So if you're talking about a hard money loan on 150, 200 million, where he put 150 down, I don't know how much you're leaking oil based on the interest rate you got. So yeah, will he turn a profit? Absolutely. I just don't know how much given what he's been leaking oil.
He bought I think the team for 225 too.
Wow. Ooh, wee.
So if Smith does buy them and moves them to Utah and then has them play where the Jazz play until the arena's built, I cannot see him paying $1 billion. I think that'd be crazy.
Yeah, and I think that there are a few other investors that are minority investors, but Murillo is the main guy.
And then the Twitter feed, I don't know who's handling that, but like there's like funny, and then there's just like, well, go back to cringe. It's just like it's a pretty serious matter. They don't have a place to play, and it seems like it's a joke to the fucking Twitter feed, man. You know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah,
well, you said you
don't
don't really care about Twitter.
Well, I do use it for information, Whit, and I just think that it's a tough look sometimes when you're kind of mocking or making like light of this fucking very serious situation for the franchise, you know? I mean, they need a fucking place to play, and it's like a big joke to whoever's running the Twitter. I don't get it. I don't get that part. Bettman did mention that Utah, Atlanta, Houston, Kansas City, and Cincinnati, all locations that have reached out, you know, for a potential franchise to come there at some point. So we will keep our eyes on that. We'll be getting to our first interview shortly. We do have a couple for you today. Sarah Nurse, one of the great Canadian women's players, and Brock Boeser of the Vancouver Canucks. We got a pair of those. But it was a shitty story out of Michigan last week, or a couple weeks ago. Michigan women's coach, Jenna Trubiano, she coaches the club program there. She played there for 5 years. She was playing an adult league there, and like, she got checked and there was a penalty call. These dudes are like 30 and 40 years old. They weren't like teenagers saying, stay on your feet. It's a men's league. Join a women's league. This is a men's league. Just giving it a fucking shit. Now, I mean, obviously I didn't play like to the level you guys did, but I figure if you're on the ice with a fucking stick in your hand, nobody gives a shit. Like we had Kelly Babstock G on our team at the ice hockey tournament we had up in Muskoka. And like, who cares? If you're out there playing, it's not a big deal. And I'm like shocked that like that age dudes would fucking like give a woman shit for playing hockey out there. It just seems like fucking stupid. She went to the league director after, just said, I just want an apology. I just want to talk to these guys. And they mocked her on the way out, like, oh, have a great night, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, what the fuck, man? It's 2024. We talk about like advancing the women's game here all the time. And I don't know, it's just a shitty thing for this woman to have to go through, to go play hockey and a bunch of donkeys give her fucking shit about playing a women's league. First off, it's an adult league. It's not even a men's league. I don't know. I just fucking felt awful for her, and she posted about it. And I don't know. I just want to bring the story to light. Obviously, we're going to have Sarah on shortly. And just like, guys, if you're playing with a woman in the league, just be a fucking normal person. Don't be a dickhead. Don't be an asshole. Who cares? She's out there with a stick. Whoever. If they're playing, let them play. Like, it's fucking stupid to fucking fuck with anybody for any reason. But knock the shit off, whatever that league is in Metro Detroit. Biz,
yeah, I mean, if you're playing men's league, you're going out there for a sweat and to have some fun. I mean, like, yeah, it's just obnoxious behavior. So did the guys end up apologizing, or they didn't? No, they like, she went to the director, and he felt bad. He went and talked to the team, and they walked by, like, literally like mocking, like, oh, have a great night, like walking by like sarcastically. It's like, so instead of just like not saying nothing, they like kind of rubbing it in. I don't know, it's just donkey behavior. I mean, nobody countered it. They didn't say, oh, that didn't happen. And there was a couple stories in The Athletic to follow up on it, but it's just like, dude, like, just fucking grow up. Like, again, because if it was a teenage league or young guys, all right, guys are, at that age, immature. But the fact that these guys are in their 30s and 40s have daughters that play hockey, and you treat a woman like that just because fucking she's a woman, fucking grow the fuck up. We should maybe hire a guy, like an old school tough guy, to go out there to this league and just dummy these guys. Wasn't there a UFC MMA show where they would take care of bullies, basically?
Really?
Yeah, there was a show.
Mick
They did a
Fakoda
reality
would do
show.
it. We should send Fakoda out there.
That's what I'm saying. We could
Diamond
get
Hands.
somewhere out there.
Bring him up.
Diamond Hands,
Ring him
Daniel
up.
Amesbury would do it. He just signed a deal in the ECHL. That would be awesome.
All right.
Well, either way, we were lucky to meet with Sarah Nurse when we were up Toronto last week. A great player, great person. We met her a few years ago out in St. Louis. So we're going to send it over to Sarah Nurse right now. So enjoy.
Before we continue, it's Whit, and I need to talk to you about Coho. Coho is a Canadian fintech company rooted in the belief that better financial solutions for all Canadians exist. They offer up to 5% interest rate on savings, which is 4 times the best banks in Canada and one of the highest interest rates in Canada. You can earn up to cash back on your purchases. Coho is the highest rated financial app in Canada. It's got a 4.8 rating on the App Store, and you can build your credit history. Coho users have seen, on average, a plus 22-point increase in their score in 3 months, which is great for those starting out or need help rebuilding their credit. Join over 1 million Canadians and sign up for your free trial right now. Coho has plans to suit all your needs. Download Coho on Google or App Store today, or go to www.coho.ca for more details. You can also get $20 off when you make your first purchase of $20 using the code Chiclets20. Coho, check it out now.
Well, we are very happy to welcome our next guest to the show. It's been a long time, Sarah, since we promised you you'd be on. She's been one of the faces of women's hockey here in Canada for over a decade now. She won gold at the Under-18 World Championship, 2 World Championship golds, and, of course, Olympic gold 2 years ago. Today, she suits up for the Toronto squad in the PWHL. It's a big pleasure to finally welcome to the Spittin Chiclets podcast, Sarah Nurse. How you been, Nurse?
Clicks, boys, for Sarah Nurse, Canadian legend.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Great intro. Love that.
Thank you.
He forgot, though, all-time leading scorer in one Olympic. You broke that record last Olympics, 18 points.
18? Oh, I
million.
gave you an extra 4.
And also a broadcaster.
Yeah, we should get a million things.
Have worked with Kobe.
Yeah, I mean, this guy. I think it was your first show. I was with you.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
Right? That was your first one?
Hey, was he doing the, how did I do? Was I okay? Was I? And you're like, it was my first show.
I was like, I don't know. How is this supposed to go? You telling me.
I think I was very supportive. I think I'm a good teammate.
Absolutely.
you're a
I'm a team guy.
Made me feel very comfortable. It's amazing.
Sarah, we did TNT together too, and you didn't seem nervous at all. Like, this is probably something you're to get into after you're done playing, right? Broadcasting, you're a natural.
It was fun. And I mean, it's just talking about hockey, which I know. And so having the confidence in that, but I mean, I was very nervous. That was the first time I was on like a big broadcast. I mean, like I've done Sportsnet like Wednesday, or not Wednesday.
It was like a
Thursday.
regional night or something. It wasn't that.
Like the Canucks are very familiar with me, I think. But other than that, it was the first time I was on national broadcast. So
Well, you
Big
crushed it,
crew.
and we're hoping you could get back, but not anytime soon because you're playing pro now. Is it weird playing for a team that doesn't have a name yet?
Yeah.
Because you're just the Toronto
You know
team.
what the only weird thing is saying PWHL Toronto, because it sounds so foreign to me. Like, I want to have a name for sure. And like for merch and different like cheers and things, like you want to have a name, but it's all coming. Like,
It's all
we
coming.
whip this thing together in 6 months.
It's
So,
amazing how quick it all kind of came. And I guess it was a long time coming, but for you and all the other girls and women, it must have been just so relieving to finally have everyone connected in one group, right? 'Cause
For sure.
all those years with the two
been a
different
gong
leagues, it was
show.
like you must have been like, we just need to get like fortified together and figure this out.
Yeah, I think for the last few years, we've all been going in the same direction on different paths, and it's really prevented us from getting to where we need to be today. So there's been so much back and forth and all this talk about like feuds and all of that. People like to pit people against each other.
Yep.
But the fact that we were finally able to come together as one group is really what propelled this.
What was it that specifically spearheaded that? Like, just did you guys all get together in a big room, like a big conference call, and finally got on the same page?
I think it really did come from the top, because we had been working with the Mark Walter Group and Billie Jean King Enterprises for a really long time. And they basically said, listen, we have the money to do this. How can we do this correctly? And so we basically said, hey, there's a PWHPA, there's a PHF, and we need to figure out a way to make there one prominent league. And that's what they ended up doing. And so that's how we're here.
So Billie Jean King, she's been a big part of it, right? Like in what she's accomplished for women's sports and all that. And like, I guess her being around, has that been cool to pick her brain and have her be like a big part of this entire thing?
Yes. Like, to have a legend like that around at all times is pretty crazy. And so she's just like a champion for inclusion. And she just comes in and says, you guys are here together. That's amazing. She knows nothing about hockey. Now she does, but it's so funny, her hockey knowledge. She's like, I don't know if she knew how to hold a stick. Like, it was pretty awesome.
But it didn't even really matter, right?
No.
Like, yeah, that's cool.
No.
Yeah, she gave you guys like power and like an eye, and like it was like a kick almost because of her name and her presence around it. I know being around you earlier when it was, what the heck was it? I was getting so confused. And I even talked to you guys about this, and Spooner and others, the ladies that I hung out with that played, it was like PSWCF.
There are a lot of letters.
FDCP.
Yeah, I get a little confused.
There are a lot of letters.
Oh, it used to be insane. And you know, you guys were fighting through this, and you're at still a young enough age where it's like, this, you know, is in my wheelhouse here. We've got to make a change.
Yep.
From that to now, I guess just take us through like the emotions. I would say one thing of that, because you're a professional hockey player, and what it took to go from that to where you are now.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think of where this all started, because I was like 24 years old when we found out we didn't have a league and there was no professional women's hockey. And so I was like, man, I'm in a prime of my career.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do now? And so we basically just realized we had the opportunity to really push for something and really get that exposure, I guess, get our names out there. And so I'm 29 now, so the last 5 years, being able to just go through life, go through hockey, and be like, listen, this is the direction we want to get to. We don't know how we're going to get there, but we're going to get there eventually.
I feel bad almost for some of the women who say are 35 now, right? Because they like missed what you're saying was your prime. But at least in the future now, like my thing is with, especially in America, like women's hockey is growing at this amazing rate. And now all these girls like have something to like look up to, and this is where I can get. It's just like having the goal in your mind is so much easier, I'm guessing, than kind of wondering, well, I don't even know where I'll be playing if I am good enough.
For sure. And I mean, my roommate was an All-American at the University of Wisconsin, and she just stopped playing hockey because there was no future for her, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is an All-American. This is one of the best players in the NCAA.
Yeah.
Stops playing because there's nowhere for her to play. And so now we're going to see not only at the professional level, the level of hockey elevate, but at the collegiate level, at development levels. And so I'm excited to see in the next 10, 15 years where we're at.
What I loved in seeing the first few games is like the physicality. And I know it's been talked about a lot, but it seems like, especially against the boards, you're getting like contact. And is that something all of you guys wanted? Like, we just need a little bit more of that, maybe to attract some more eyeballs?
Yeah, well, the one thing that people have talked about when it separates men's and women's hockey is the body checking. They're like, we're not going to watch this because it's not real hockey. There's no body checking. And so when we're having these conversations, we're like, we'll just put body checking in.
Really?
Like, we do it already. So just put it in. And so now we've been given the freedom. Like, we don't want open ice hits to the head, right? Nobody does. But along the boards, like, you're fair game at that point. you are fair game. And we've seen through the first month of this season that there have been a lot of big hits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool to be a part of and watch.
What about the trash talking? Is it as ruthless as the men's game?
Honestly, I think it's a little more ruthless just because like girls are vicious.
Good.
Like,
Hey, you get at questions like this, like, what's the best trash talk you've ever heard?
Cunt. Sorry.
girls are vicious.
The girls are throwing C-bombs at each other?
Girls are just vicious in the
C-bombs?
sense that it gets personal.
Oh,
and I know
okay,
that like I
okay.
always hear about guys talking about like people's moms and like sisters and things, but like a girl will run down your entire life. Yeah.
She's like, I took down your
Yeah.
boyfriend.
So if you if you ever have
Before my pregame nap today, your boyfriend came over. I got those extra electrolytes in my belly, girl.
The first 5-minute major for shit talking.
Oh my god, it's in our game. But no, you hear somebody like Abby Rock or like Emma Malte, like those
the
two
trash
mic'd up in the
talkers?
game.
They're like the Marchand, maybe.
Absolutely.
Okay, so is there anyone else? Like who's the top dog trash talker?
There's when we play Team Canada, Team USA, so she's not in our league yet, but Abby Murphy is a big one too. Like there are just some girls who will like attack you. Yeah.
Well, that's the biggest rivalry in women's hockey is Canada versus USA.
Oh,
I mean, your first Olympics, you guys ended up losing in the gold medal game.
Yeah.
So you've seen it both sides, right? Like, what was that experience? Not only making your first Olympic, but then going through that and then facing defeat.
Yeah, it sucked. Like bottom line, it sucked. We were hyped up so much because we were going for like a record of the most consecutive Olympic gold medals. I think that would have been our fifth in a row, our team's fifth in a row. And so coming back to Canada, it was just a disappointment because we had this standard in our country that our women's hockey team came back with a gold medal. And so although we were so supported and felt so much love, there was always that, you guys got a silver medal. And it wasn't good enough. It wasn't. And it didn't feel good enough to us either. And so we were like, I was like, I'm not going back to the Olympics unless it's for a gold medal.
Yeah.
So
There's just that extra when you're wearing your country's
for sure
thing and it hits like really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that, because it's Canada and US, right? And you have these amazing battles. It's really cool what you guys have done in terms of like you playing the little series here and there. Yeah. Have you seen other countries start to become better and the women's programs growing, like maybe Sweden, Finland? Are they starting to maybe get towards your guys' level?
Yeah, the Finns are good. They've had a rough couple of years for sure. But really, to me, it's Czechia.
Okay.
They've actually been like this sleeper that is like gradually got their way up. I think they're third and like.
Same with the men too. In Czechia, the World Juniors and
and
stuff.
I think
They have that one girl that's like a light show. I forget her name.
She's the McDavid.
She's Slovak. Isn't she Slovak?
Okay, so she's Slovak. She's like
Slovak.
16
Yeah,
years old.
she's real young,
She's
yeah.
tiny,
She's
like
the
young, but she's sick.
Yeah.
And it'll be cool to see because she's playing high school right now in the States. So it'll be cool to see her development when she gets up to be 18, 20 years old.
Oh, she'll be doing USA hockey modules, skating through pylons.
Exactly.
Is she getting the Bedard McDavid treatment from like the ladies being like, okay, this girl's like the top prospect?
Well, we all know her, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's also because of the visibility and exposure. Like TSN pumped her last year.
Well, a couple of those goals, like they're going viral.
Right? And so she was everywhere. And so somebody like me, I'm on the senior national team for Team Canada. Like, no offense, why would I know somebody on Team Slovakia under 18 team?
Yeah.
But I've seen that girl score and I'm like, dang, she's good. So I'm excited to see. Maybe we'll play against
Yeah,
each
she's
other
like
one
the first one though that like has popped at a young age. Like, remember growing up, like on this, I remember Jay Bowmeister, then it was Spezza. Like,
I would say
you only saw them on the hockey news still, but like now,
Prodigies.
like to hear her name at such a young age in your sport and for your league and your game, and
It is different too, her being from a European country. Like we have girls obviously on Team Canada who aren't on Team Canada at 14 years old, right? Like Caitlin Kramer just went and set a bunch of records at the Women's Under 18 World Championship. She's on Team Canada. And so it's harder to crack the roster at 14 years old. But there are definitely girls who are going to get Bedard treatment.
Yeah.
Who's the female GOAT? I mean, Haley Wickenheiser, names comes up a lot.
Is it Pouliot?
I think it'll be Poulet.
By the time she's
Mary
done.
Philippe Poulet.
All right, Philip.
She's unbelievable.
She always gets mad. I can't say her name. No, she's the best player that I think will ever like touch our game.
Yeah.
At everything, she's better at you than.
And then
No, that's English.
She's better
If
than-
it's not, you'll match.
you. I feel like biz out here.
Time.
yeah.
A nurseism.
That's
Yeah,
what you said earlier. I don't get nervous. We talk hockey. I was like, that's probably why I do get nervous before the broadcast because I actually have to talk
The
about it.
active talk.
She is the first one to pronounce the name of that country correct on the show.
Czechia.
Czechia, yeah. We've been butchering that for a while.
He says Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, well, I wasn't around when it was around.
Welcome to 2024.
I will say this, so she's Marie-Philippe Poulin. She's
Marie.
also extremely not only good but clutch.
Absolutely.
Like it's the most clutchness.
Absolutely. Like you can never, no matter what team she's on, you can never count her team out because she's there.
Yeah.
Is she cool, calm, and collected off the ice? Like very calm demeanor.
So calm. She's so humble. Could never be me.
Who are the
Why am
wild?
I the way I am?
I know, right?
Who are the wild personalities for Team Canada? Like who are the girls in the locker room that maybe when the energy is a little bit low, they can get in there and elevate the group?
Yeah, definitely an Emma Malte. She's on my Toronto team. She's crazy, wild. Like she has this thing. She does like compliments of the team, and she runs around in her little bodysuit and like yells at you, basically.
Just
like she
gasses
looked
you
at
up?
Joss on the rock one day and was like, "You're strong as hell." Ooh. And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" But she's somebody who definitely gets the vibes up. Laura Stacey is absolutely hilarious as well. So we have some characters, some personalities.
I love that.
Personally, for you, like growing up, like how long were you playing with the boys? And like because it's different. I think now, at least in the Boston area, there's all girls teams starting at 7 and 8. But I remember growing up, there'd be really good girls on our team till we were like 12 even. Like, was that you?
Yeah, I played with the boys until I was 12, 11,
Okay.
12, I believe. And I like always played with them until I was 7. I didn't even know girls played hockey. Like I didn't know there were girls hockey teams, anything like that until I saw Team Canada play.
That's
And I
what
was
kind of
like-
gave you a fire.
Yeah. And I was like, holy, I can't believe there's a whole team of girls.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, I got to be on that team one day. And so that was like my first introduction to girls hockey. And then I eventually made the transition. But I grew up playing with the boys.
Did they give you a lot of shit out there? The playing?
You know what? It was the parents. The parents
Really?
hated me. Yeah. Because I was the
you
best
beat their
player.
son.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the best player. So
Can't
the
believe that
parents,
chick's taking my son's PP time. My
100%.
son's a natural centerman, dude.
yeah, right. And I'm lined up 1C. They're all mad. But no, the parents didn't like me. But the boys, they were great. Like they were like my brothers. They'd go to battle for me. Somebody tried to take me out. I had 5 of them in.
How'd you? I mean, I'm sure you had a great support system, but how did you handle that, like emotionally, when you were coming up, and that was the case where you were feeling it from the parents, even?
Yeah, I think my dad always just talked to me about doing my talking on the ice. Like I'm a 7, 8, 9-year-old kid. Like what am I gonna do, right? And so he was like, "Hey, if you keep going out and playing the way that you're playing, all those guys are gonna be laughing one day, and they're gonna be sitting there being like, I used to play with that girl."
Yeah.
And I get talked to by people all the time, being like, "Oh, my supply teacher, Mr. So and So, said he used to play with you," and I was like, that's crazy. Like out of all of those kids, I'm the one who's still in the hockey world.
That's amazing.
Right. And
That's unbelievable. Did you have any advice like for hockey dads out there when you're raising a girl who's playing, or am I even stupid for asking that? And it's just treat them the same as you would for your son.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think now, especially too, with the resources there are for women's hockey, it's very similar.
Yeah.
I would say teach your kids how to skate first.
Yeah, that's
I don't know
important.
what we're doing throwing our kids on the ice with pucks at 3 years old.
I know.
Teach your kids how to skate and then let them go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you started skating at 3, and then you finally started playing like organized hockey at 5. I read.
Yes.
And you said, I think it was the 2002 Salt Lake Olympics when you started watching the women's team. That's what really kind of ignited your passion for the game.
Yes. Yeah. I was a really good skater. Like that was what I was always very skilled at. And I wasn't really into hockey. I wasn't really into the pucks, the equipment. Nothing about it really lit
Did you
my
have a sport
fire.
at the time?
I liked soccer.
Okay.
I liked soccer. But I was out there having fun. And I did enjoy playing the game. But once my dad actually taught me the purpose of hockey, they were like, you put this puck in the net, you score goals. I was like, oh, this is awesome. People cheer. This is amazing. So then I started falling in love with hockey. But yeah, like watching the women in 2002 was like game changing for me. That was the first time I had something to look up to, because prior to that, even at 7 years old, people were like, you're never going to make it to the NHL. And I was like, I know. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was some tangible goal for me.
Speaking of the NHL, I know there's been criticism of not necessarily assisting or helping out the women's leagues. Now that there's only one, has the NHL stepped up a little more in that regard?
Yeah, they've definitely been supportive. I mean, even being here at All-Star Weekend, obviously we've been a part of All-Star Weekend in the past, but to have a very tangible game to be able to showcase our league, I think has been great. And in each individual market, I think the individual teams have done a good job at some level of supporting and helping.
What about the crowds? Because that was the one thing that took me back. Like, these arenas are packed, they're loud. Like, did you expect that coming in, or was it more of a surprise that they've been that packed?
I was very hopeful and optimistic.
Okay.
Because I know the demand. Like, I know people have been like, I want to see you guys play. But for us, like in Toronto, and I know we have a smaller building, it holds 3,000 people.
Who cares if
Who
it's packed,
cares?
though?
Oh, it's
But
atmosphere.
packed. And our season sold out before like tickets could even go on sale to the general public.
It's more than the
Yeah.
Coyotes get.
Hey, I don't want to say, I'm not trying to make anybody
Thank
angry.
you. Classy. You're a classy
I got
lady.
my
You're a
boy over there. But it's been like overwhelming because I even hear for next year there's like a 2,000 person list for season tickets.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dang, we need
Supply
to
and
do a
demand.
good
So
thing.
there was no way that you weren't going to end up in Toronto. Did they get to like consult you beforehand and you got to say, yeah, I'm staying in Toronto. I'm going to be the face of the team here. Like how did that all go? I'm sure.
No.
Because
No, it was a free agency period. So basically, a GM could call any player who had registered for the draft and been like, "Hey, I coach for Toronto. This is my pitch, pretty much. We'd love to have you here."
So everyone called you.
So I got some calls. Yes.
Louis Vuitton duffel bag. Too?
Yeah, that's adding to the list. Louis V. But no, I got a call, and I'm very familiar with the staff in Toronto, Gina and Troy at Hockey Canada. And actually, when I found out that they were going to be in Toronto, I was like, I don't know if they're going to want me. Like,
Because they have so many options.
They have so
basically
many
from the team.
options. They know me in and out. So if they don't want like something about me as a player, as a person, they don't need to take me. And so I was kind of concerned. I was like, this is obviously where I want to be. This is not only home, but it's like the hub of so many things that I do. And so I got a call from them, had a couple conversations, and I ended up being fortunate to be in Toronto.
So then after free agency period, then they held the draft. So you could players signed before, and then whoever was left went through the draft.
Yes. So the free agency period was basically signing your like elite and prestige players to generate some more buzz, because like when you start with a draft, it's if you just started with a draft, like how do you
Do you kind of wish
create
you got
momentum?
drafted maybe too though? That was kind of cool. Hey,
It
the
was
first ever
really
draft.
cool. It was like I was
Like you just got signed. You didn't really
like
get
I was a little
drafted.
jealous. Like I like even like Taylor Heisey, she goes number one, and I'm like, oh, like that would have been
That's sick.
so cool to not saying I would have got number one, but to hear my name called.
Yeah.
I think that would have been cool, right?
So let me ask you this. You got a lot of skin in this game. Man, you've been grinding it out, playing along a while, but you're a boardroom battler.
I'm adding that to my bio. Boardroom battler.
What's your name?
Yeah.
He's going to get you another Louis Vuitton duffel.
Shit talker.
Carry on a suitcase.
She let my kids try on her gold medal. That's why.
I
Really?
did.
She put it on my kids, let them wear it. So it's got a spot in my heart, old Nursey. But being a local girl, skin in the game for the league, fighting, and now playing for your hometown team, personally for you, how insane, like totally insane is that emotionally and everything when you first took to the ice? Instead of being like Minnesota. It's different.
It's true.
team.
It's true. It's true. Obviously, growing up watching the Toronto Maple Leafs, like this was the closest thing I had to professional hockey. And stepping on the ice with Toronto on my chest, it was fulfilling a dream that I never knew that I even had. I never dreamed of playing professional hockey because there was no league.
Yeah.
So why would I even think of that? And stepping on the ice, I was like, holy crap, like how did I even get here? Like there's so many little things in your life that you're like, this led me to this moment, right? And so there was an insane roller coaster of emotions. You're thinking of so many people, how you got there.
Overwhelming a little bit at the beginning.
So overwhelming, but it was special. Like it's something that, especially playing in that first game, like me and my teammates, like we're the only ones who have ever experienced that.
Yeah.
So
what is the schedule? So how many games will you guys play?
we have 24 on this year's season because it's a short season, January to June. So 24, we had like 8 in January. So it was packed. Like we were here traveling. It's been insane.
Yeah.
We have 5 coming up in February.
What will be the playoff format?
It is going to be a series, and I'm trying to think right now. I should know this. It's either best of 3 or best of 5.
Okay.
Top 4 teams make the playoffs. 2, you're golfing early, but yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
You mentioned the gold medal army, and we talked about how you guys faced defeat your first Olympics.
Yeah.
So that 4 years leading up to the next one, like
what was the preparation like? And for those who are listening who don't know, like you guys have a bit of a different schedule. So what was like the training for Team Canada like? When would you girls meet up for your camps, and how would you get prepared to eventually win the gold medal in Pyeongchang? Is that how you say it?
Pyeongchang was Olympics 1.
That was one.
We were in Beijing.
Beijing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Beijing. You
That
guys
was
won.
right though. I can't believe you pronounced it.
Yeah.
He can't say your last
Well,
name, but he can say
cannot
Pyeongchang.
say nurse, but he could say
Well, he's a
Pyeongchang.
big time massage guy. So.
You're linking everything together. It's all different.
That's one thing you guys should request in your next CBA is Thai massages before a
Oh
game.
my god.
Oh, I'm telling you, they'll work that posterior
Yeah.
chain nice. Get the heels and the glutes. It's awesome.
Where were we on the question?
So yeah, we got sidetracked there though. So that's
schedule leading up. Yeah.
Yeah.
so training. And
Yeah.
obviously, you guys need redemption.
For sure. And it was different because of COVID, obviously, like that completely turned everything upside down. But before the Olympics, what we do is we move to Calgary for 6 months. So in July, I guess we all moved there and we stay there for 6 months and we train and play as a team. So we'll play Team USA. They had us playing in like the BCHL that year too. So we're playing like in like Trail and like Cranbrook against those junior teams. And basically it is a year-long tryout. So they bring 28 women and they have to cut the roster down to 23.
That's tough.
It's crazy. So you're teammates with these people that you're competing against at the end of the day. So it creates a really, really tough dynamic. And yeah, that's basically how we do it.
That's what they used to do with USA Hockey in the Olympics before there were pros, like 1980. And at the end, there's like 1 or 2 cuts left. It's just probably so hard for you to see
like
good friends.
to come December 23rd and be like, oh, you're not going to the Olympics.
So to back it up, that's that year leading up to the Olympics.
Yeah.
So are you still doing that process because you guys have the World Championships at the end of each of those years leading up? Like, are you still doing that 6 months there?
No, we only do it the year before the Olympics.
Okay.
So in all the other years, we'd be back with our club teams training on our own, but that'll obviously change with our pro league. Like we won't be able to leave for 6 months.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but you're playing.
But it's-
we're
like
playing,
NHL,
so
you
it's
know,
like
kinda.
that. It's like the NHL. And then 2020, when's the next Olympics? 2026. In 2026, we'll be playing, and then we'll have a 3-week break and go to the Olympics.
So we always,
Italy, I think, right?
Italy, you know, you already know.
That's
You've been
easier.
in China and Korea. It's like,
I know. All of my family's like, we're kind of done. We're not on the Asia trip. Like, let's go somewhere new.
The frog legs on the conquest
Yeah,
are nice. but I think
exactly.
maybe
My
like
poor
a few,
mom.
spicy meatballs.
Everyone gains 20 pounds in Italy. just crushing
Honestly, my
pasta.
mom had white rice for like 3 weeks straight in South Korea. Poor girl.
Now they're gonna have red lips and teeth.
Exactly.
crushing the
they
vino.
won't even make it to the games.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
They have like robot Thai masseuses there.
So we always use the term "iron sharpens iron," and you guys talked about that year leading up and how maybe nasty it got sometimes because of the dynamic. Like, what? Like you guys are competing on the ice, maybe some on ice fights during practice, like anything of like that degree.
That actually did almost happen. Tensions run really high. Yeah, I think there were so many factors that led to us losing in 2018, and we almost won, which was the crazy thing. Like they ended up, I believe that we were winning, and then they ended up tying it late, and then we lost in the shootout.
That was the gross move by
by Glamour.
Oh my God.
And so we almost got away with whatever we were doing in 2018, and it's crazy to think of if we would have won, maybe what would have changed within our program.
Maybe
Probably not much.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that loss really made us go internal and like, what are we doing here? And we changed a lot.
So explain this to me, because lots of talk's been this too. Leading up, changing things, getting a league like this new established league that's like legit. And then on the downtime when you get that pre-Olympic thing. But other than that, like what are you ladies doing? Like, are you guys going working at like, you have to get a job, and you guys have all had to do that while trying to train and take, these steps through your career too. So you guys have been like literally grinding.
Yeah. And lucky for us, like not anymore because of our league now.
Yeah.
But we have girls, like last year we had girls who were teachers, chiropractors, we have firefighters, police officers.
Really? And they got to be training too. So
Exactly.
it's a lot.
Yeah. So that's what we've been dealing with for the last 5 years, for forever, really, until this year. We have girls with other careers.
What did
so
you
hockey's
do?
been a hobby.
Did you have to do anything?
Everything. I worked with you.
Yeah, you did. You did a little TV.
I did.
Did you do anything else? Like what else
I
were you
didn't
doing?
actually. Fun fact, I've never had like a real job.
Hey, join the club.
How terrible is that?
That means you're good enough at hockey.
never had a
I had to
real
have a
job.
paper route. I had
No,
to
nothing.
help
I remember one
bricklayers
time I
lay
tried
brick.
to like bag groceries, but didn't get that one. I wasn't qualified enough.
I got a random question. It could be stupid.
Yeah.
Any talk about ever going to visors?
Lots
Let's
of talk.
go.
So much
Do you
talk.
think it would change
So
things in
much
terms
talk.
of like how people view it? I don't know, but
So the argument for the visors is like the NHL, for example. You know that they are like the
Insurance?
top. Yes, insurance, of course. But you know that they're the top because they don't have cages, right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
For sure. But they stop wearing cages when they're 16 in the O,
Go to
in
junior.
junior hockey. Okay, so they actually learn how to, I want to use this very carefully, control their sticks.
Yeah, for sure.
If you notice in our game, our sticks are kind of everywhere.
It's like
hitting
college
cages.
hockey.
So I have like a pretty beautiful face.
Yeah,
I don't want to
fuck
be.
it up.
Okay, I just got dental insurance this year. I don't want to be stuck in the. I don't want to be stuck in the
Get
face.
a picture of Nursey now.
That's
Once
what-
they get rid of the cages, just take a headshot of me right now. That'll be her post
There you
career.
go.
Yeah.
But we've had a lot
Just
of
a
conversations
bruiser.
about
Good
that.
with a hook nose like me, though.
Do you think a little to the side?
In the meetings, they're like, "Have you seen Bissonnette and Armstrong's nose? Like, you want to have one of those?"
Yeah, with the before
Like
pictures.
Exhibit A.
That's what
Why
I'm
we
saying.
keep the cages.
That's what I'm saying.
This isn't a loaded question either. Is there any other resources? You talk about the advancement in resources for women's hockey. Is there anything else from a league standpoint that you think you guys would need over the next couple of years? Like, what are some more things that you're not quite there on, which you think that you guys could use in order to kind of take that next step?
Yeah, the like visibility on the broadcast side has been great. Like I've been able to catch pretty much every game on some major sports network, or it's always on YouTube. But what I would love to see is the production behind the game. You work at TNT, you work at Sportsnet TNT. I don't know if you work at
I don't do anything.
but the production behind those games, pre, post, during.
The manpower or whatever on it.
Yes,
To do
I
it all.
want to see more of that because that's how you get to like really know players. That's how you get to know players' playing styles with that analysis. And so I would love to see more of that.
Like,
I would
like
love to do a Chiclets broadcast for one of the PWHL
Oh,
games.
God.
That'd be awesome.
Games. That would be so fun.
Yeah.
But we'd want to do it Bravo style where we're in the room with you girls like chirping at the other
Yeah.
girls and stuff like that.
You
Let's
want
go.
all the tea.
I want all the tea. That's what I want.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I know you were involved with the CBA. Like, what kind of issues did you like kind of really have to fight for or change from previous ones?
Boardroom, Nursey,
Border
banging
battler.
tables, banging desks.
Border battler.
We want more.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was with the CBA, we wanted to establish a set of guidelines that we could agree on as players and employees and the league, who is our employer, so that there was no wishy-washy gray area. Like, this is what's happening. This is what we want. This is what you want. This is what's going to be. And so there were some battles for certain things. And there are certain things that have the opportunity to be reopened in the future. Like we wanted to talk about revenue sharing. And when you have an investor that's bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars, the revenue share, window was kind of closed at this moment and it's going to be reopened in the future. We talked about like name, image, and likeness, which is such a hot topic right now, NCAA and things like that. And the ownership group in the league, they've been super creative and innovative. And so they had a lot of ideas about player name, image, and likeness and who owns those rights and who shares those rights. And so we had some battles about that. And so it definitely got heated in that boardroom.
Because players in the NHL don't make money on their jersey sales, right?
No,
It's a pool, I think.
Pooled revenue.
Right?
Okay.
So I
it goes
think it's
towards HHR.
No, it's
HRR.
HRR.
yeah.
That's the shitty car.
Okay, so
That's a shitty car.
all the merch ends up being pooled.
That looks like a hearse.
If it's pooled, and then I think it's dispersed.
Okay.
Isn't that right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
We're just guessing.
Or just
We're just
guessing.
a hockey
You're
podcast.
literally
Doesn't
just
know
making
anything.
this up.
We don't know
to make
anything.
it all whole, and then that's why the players have to pay whatever
Okay.
to
Yeah.
make up for other
That's
things.
why they got Bieber making jerseys.
There
now.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I know you're only 29, like we said earlier, but you're probably one of the eldest stateswomen in the game in Canada. Has it almost gone by in a blur? I mean, I remember you first on the scene, and it feels like, wow, I already approaching 30. Not to put any more pressure on you.
It just turned 29.
Come on, are you getting tougher than Chiefs than
Are you kidding?
There we go. Well, thanks for coming, sir.
Holy, see ya. No, it's kind of crazy to have the younger ones, so I'll say, coming up and like look up to me.
Yeah.
Because I've been one of the ones who have been out there and a little bit more prominent. I don't necessarily think of it that way, but to have, I play with a girl, Maggie Connors, in Toronto, and to say like, she was like, no, you were one of the players that I looked up to.
That's awesome.
It like blows my mind a little bit. And so, because that was like a Natalie Spooner or a Marie-Philippe Poulin for me. And so to think of me playing with those girls now it blows my mind. And I'm only 29.
And you said you said like the biggest strength of your game has been skating. Like we ask players often, like, what is there something you're looking to add to your game right now?
Yeah, I would say it was skating. I was.
Oh, you slowed down a little. 29.
I was really good at skating.
I found it hard to bend my knees as I got older.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Right? No, I think for me, I pride myself in being very versatile. So I think that I can play in a lot of situations, and I'm very adaptable to who I'm playing with. So if you want to put me up, if you want to put me down the lineup, it's not the best thing to be on the fourth line. Like I'm never like the happiest, but I will play that role and I will play it to the best of my ability. And so for me, what I'm looking for now is I can get to the net. I just got to finish.
Okay.
Right? And I want to work on those small area little plays because I think I'm super athletic. And when I just play a direct game, it ends up working out for me.
Do you in the summer are you same as like men's pro where you're working out morning on the ice in the afternoon? Like, are you training with guys around or is it all women?
We do know we have our pro group of women, and we train with the guys. So there's like Taylor Radish there, Darren as well, Mitch Marner's there, and so we train in conjunction with those guys, and it's great because we have like an awesome rapport with them.
Yeah,
like T scored his first goal. I think it was against Toronto. This year, and where I'm like, oh my God, T, like that's crazy. And so it was a lot of fun to be there with them and them kind of see us go through this journey and this process because it's been hard for them. Like they don't really understand what's going on. And so they've been able to get to know us and how we're doing.
Well, it's awesome. And it's very exciting, I think, like not only for us, but it's just cool to see how many younger girls where I live are so into hockey and how much, I know dads with daughters who play and this league started. They're bringing them to games in Boston. They're looking to travel and see games. It's cool to see the one direction finally, or everything be in one direction in one spot. So happy for you.
We never asked you about playing in college in Wisconsin.
Oh God!
I heard that's the
what's that
sickest
bar
setup.
there? The KK?
The KK and the college club.
Was the men's team any good when you were there?
They won the Big Ten championship my freshman year, and then they sucked.
Yeah,
so bad.
So you guys took the reins there. You guys were like
and they
the holy
had
grail of college hockey.
You
Holy
have your
Trinity.
own setup and everything, right?
Yes.
Like you have your own rink,
Our own rink.
Oh, you don't play at the Kohl Center?
They have their own.
Wow.
They
whole
built us
setup.
their own rink.
Was that
how many national titles when you were there?
Guys, I got 0.
Oh, shit.
That's like the little known fact about me because everyone's like, how many did you win? No, I went to the Frozen Four 4 times.
No.
Lost in the national championship.
How many times you lose in the national championship?
Oh.
Twice. Oh
Hey, so me and you
My
have
senior
no national
year.
titles, and we've never had a real job. So there you go. We're doing
we have more in common than I thought.
That is wild.
I know. 3 conferences though.
You get the conference titles. You get the conference
So
Got a
titles.
couple
we've had
rings.
this conversation a lot recently about maybe the state of Canadian hockey and more so compared to US.
Okay.
Do you find that it's maybe too expensive and the resources aren't as available to kids coming up in Canada as maybe they are in the United States? And as far as like the high end development of going to like the US program, like do you think that Canada is maybe on a rescinding a little bit compared to America as far as hockey's concerned?
Yes and no, because as you mentioned, like the development programs in the US start at like 10 years old, right? Like
Even
they do those,
even younger.
They do those like specialized camps for kids that are very good at a super young age. And so you're getting exposed to other players who are very good at 10 years old. Whereas in Canada, that wasn't necessarily the case. Like I never played against players who were really good until I was like 16.
Yeah.
I was never in the same room. And so yes and no in that essence, because I just don't think there's that funnelized, that's definitely not English.
I like that.
Approach.
We'll
let it play. We're the Ivy of the Midwest at Wisconsin. Thank you.
That's good. Yeah. I went to Davenport University. It was in a portable, so I feel you. I feel you.
Anything about playing at American college that caught you off guard, like you weren't expecting? Maybe the atmosphere or just the way things, the locker room dynamics or anything?
They call it breezers. They call pants breezers.
That's a Midwest.
Yeah,
that's a
Okay,
Midwest
is that a
thing.
Midwest thing? I was like, that's not a thing.
No,
That's
not
What do you call the?
I like
bottom-
funnelized better than that.
What do you call the pink thing on the bottom of the skates there that holds the steel?
a tuck.
Yes.
What do you call it?
I used to say toque, then I realized that was a hat.
They call it a toque.
That's a Canadian hat.
toque.
Yeah.
I don't even know like where that came from,
That
but I
could
think
be
it's just
just
us
you.
mispronouncing
That
it.
could be just you.
Yeah, exactly.
Nursey, I want to ask you about like obviously we talked, you've done TV, you're playing, you've now launched this thing and really helped it obviously in the boardrooms and everything and negotiations, get it off the ground. And I know it's a long ways away, but with all that experience of doing all of that, like, and a college degree, what are you funnelizing yourself towards maybe in your career with like a snapshot? Because they always ask us, and now I can ask you this, what are you going to do when you're done? And hockey players always say, I don't know, I'm just playing the game. And, you know, have you thought about that now that you have all these kind of experiences that you've been able to do? And
she just turned 29, man.
I know, again.
Oh, I know, but it's
I did just turn 29. Started my professional career 1 month ago. But no, I have a lot of different interests and I do love TV. I have a lot of fun. And so I'd love to explore that. But I actually think, I don't think my skill set lends me to coaching or anything like that. But I would love to be in an ownership position or
GM,
that type
GM
of thing.
type.
Yeah, that now that you got that feel, like when you're negotiating, you're at the table, you were, you know, working them to get this thing going. Yeah. You kind of worked your chops in that area that you went, hey, I can do this. I got this.
Yeah. And I'm very interested in the business side of sports. And we've never had to deal with salaries or salary caps or contracts or things like that. And so that has like sparked something in me that I'm like, oh, this is a cool side of hockey. And so I think that could be a possible path.
What would a franchise tag be for a team in your league? Like I know it's the original 6 right now, but have you guys talked expansion yet? What would be the tag, you know?
Yeah.
Because we would be interested in maybe.
Yeah, having a team.
Well, because we've been trying in the
team in every league.
Yeah, honestly.
We've been trying for the ECHL, but we're getting pigeon tossed right now by Colorado Springs. But I feel like it's just a growing sport and there's so much runway.
Yeah, I think that they'll probably have some sort of valuations towards the end of the season, but we are centrally owned right now by our ownership group, the Walter Group. And I know that we talked to so many markets. Like obviously we're very concentrated in the Northeast right now, but there have been so much interest in the West, like Seattle, LA, like Vancouver, there's been so much interest. And so I totally see eventual expansion out there.
Do the women have agents?
Yes.
You guys all have agents? Okay. That's something I could see you getting into maybe.
See,
Super agent.
I don't like that.
No, really?
No, I would hate
no desire for that.
No, none.
I take it back.
None. You're wrong.
All right.
How's the travel with your guys' stuff? How's that been set up? I'm sure it was all negotiated so that it was comfortable and made you know, everyone happy.
For sure.
What's that like?
So no driving over 6 hours, or I believe it's 400 miles. So basically us in Toronto, we drive to Ottawa and Montreal, we fly to Boston, New York, and Minnesota.
Yeah.
And the travel has actually it's been as good as it can be, but it's been a little trickier than I thought. I mean, like if you think of the Maple Leafs going to play the Rangers, their travel with the game probably takes like a day of their lives.
And it's fun too.
And it's fun. It's easy. It's easy. You know, you're not going through TSA.
No.
Right. And so
that too.
For us, it's like we show up on Monday, show up at the airport at 11, get on our plane at 3, fly into Connecticut, play in Connecticut the next day, and then we don't get home until the Wednesday. And so it just takes up a lot of time.
Chunk.
You're never leaving after the game.
No,
you're
never, because there's no flights, right? You can't get a commercial flight at
11:30
midnight, 1. And so I think that's been the tough thing, is just our travel to New York should take a day. And it
So as far as resources, Gary should be providing PJs for Wayne.
If we can, listen, I've been trying to get private planes for us for years, and that's going to be my legacy. I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure out how to get us PJs.
It'll be a propeller plane going on the PJ.
Exactly. Air nurse. I will be flying the girls to their games. So if you know anyone.
This has been awesome.
Chiclets Air.
Yeah. The Merles just doesn't remember any of those things.
Well, this has been unbelievable. We appreciate your time. I don't know if there was anything else you had to ask, RA, but
no, I think
okay.
I think we're though.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you
luck
guys.
with everything.
Thank you.
And let me know about that franchise tag.
100%. You'll be the
Team
first to know.
All right, before we go any further, here's a few words from our friends at Body Armor. Spittin Chiclets is brought to you by Body Armor Zero Sugar. Body Armor Zero Sugar is a new zero sugar sports drink from our friends at Body Armor with no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Whether you're looking to stay hydrated or recovering from a long weekend, Body Armor Zero Sugar has got you covered. Body Armor Zero Sugar has great taste and flavors like fruit punch, lemon lime. My favorite right now is fruit punch. They sent the they sent the bunch my way. So good, especially a guy like me, getting a little older. I need to stay hydrated all the time. Can't beat this stuff right here. Whether you're planning a wedding, doing a podcast, working out, whatever, late night recordings, this stuff, boom, unbelievable rehydration. You need to get some. G, have you tried this stuff yet?
I drink it every single day, RA. I can't get enough of it. I'd say my favorite is the cherry lime. I love the cherry lime. It goes down amazing. I'm a big cherry guy too. Cherry flavor is my go-to. So Body Armor Zero Sugar, you can't beat it.
Dude, and the best part's with the vitamins. Like, old guy like me, sometimes we don't get the vitamins we need. So you take a look, everything 100%. So you get rehydrated and a bunch of vitamins. It's great stuff, and it is available in stores nationwide. But you can head on over to the Body Armor store on Amazon right now and get yours today. Big thanks for Sarah for jumping on with us. She's a great player, great kid, man. And enjoy. What a personality she got, Biz. Like, she's the type of face. You wish you had, like, NHL guys to show this much personality in interviews sometimes. She's not shy about growing the game, and it's great what she's been doing for Canadian hockey and, the women's pro game as well.
Oh, just incredible energy and a great ambassador for women's hockey. And we wish her all the best on the Toronto squad. I did forget to ask her in the midst of the interview if girls on the team had given suggestions as to what they should name the team. Like, I don't know what they plan on doing, but none of the teams in the league as it sits right now have names. It's all just the names of the city. So
yeah.
I like how they're taking their time and not just rushing it and waiting until they find something that actually is like something that's going to pop and, move jerseys and so on and so forth. So I'm interested to see what they come up with.
Absolutely. Another Winter Classic on the horizon. The Blackhawks, once again, I know people are probably sick of that, but they actually haven't played the most Winter Classics, contrary to popular belief. They're going to host the St. Louis Blues in the 16th Winter Classic, January 1st, 2025 at Wrigley Field. It'll be the Hawks' 5th Winter Classic, their third time hosting, and they've yet to win a Winter Classic. It'll be the third for the St. Louis Blues. They had 2-0 in Winter Classics. Boys, I don't know if we're going to get the Chicago. The Bruins, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought Detroit would have had the most. They're probably up there too with 3 or 4.
I don't really understand the frustration. I mean, I guess people are just sick of seeing the Blackhawks in these games, but when you're talking about an Original Six team with one of the top TV markets, with one of the top young players to ever come into the league, it's kind of a no-brainer. Now, Chicago probably won't be great next season either. I mean, there's a chance they end up winning the lottery and getting Celebrini this year from BU. And if that happens, that's when you'll see fans around the league explode if Chicago gets another first overall pick. I'm hoping he goes back to BU for 1 year. We'll see what happens there. But, man, Wrigley Field is a crazy good place to have this. I look at like awesome venues for it, and we've mentioned a bunch, and I wasn't in Seattle this year, but you guys talked how great that was. I know that was a different spot, but this is for the people going to the game. Okay, this is for the people that are in attendance in person and experience the festivities and everything that goes with it. And Wrigley Field is this amazing old school baseball stadium that is in an awesome city with a great young talent that they want to expose to the entire country and league. So I understand it completely. If you're disgusted by it, I'm sorry your team isn't more of a big market type team. I know your team may be better and you may be really itching to get an outdoor game. But I just look at it like it makes sense because it's Bedard and it's the Blackhawks and it's Wrigley Stadium or Wrigley Field, whatever it's called. So I'm down with it. I don't know what else to say. I guess I would maybe argue that it would be hopefully a team a little more exciting than the Blues. No offense to them. They've had a great run, especially since the coaching change. They've been on fire.
I think they probably try to do it so people can travel and drive in. And it's pretty much a guaranteed sellout. Not saying it wouldn't be anyway. Because of the way the Bears are. But to get as many visiting team fans
as you can?
Yeah, I think it like logistically, a lot of people would be able to drive in for it. And I mean, I've been to both the football stadium version and the baseball, and surprisingly, I like the baseball stadiums better. We did it.
I don't think that's surprising because you're closer.
Well, we did it at Fenway with Boston. Then I actually went to watch the Boston-Chicago one that they had at Notre Dame Stadium. So
we were at that one. I didn't. We were sitting so high up. I didn't like that one. I just think you get better. It's hard to see no matter where you're at outside football or baseball. But baseball, you're just closer to the action.
Agreed.
Actually, because Chicago and Boston have both been in 4. So when Chicago plays next year, they'll take the lead with 5 Winter Classics altogether. So, Washington's Evgeny Kuznetsov ended the player assistance program. We just want to send along our best wishes. We hate to see guys have to go that route, but whatever he's dealing with, we just want to pass good tidings along to him. A couple of suspensions as well since the last time we met. Brendan Dillon, he got 3 games for an illegal check to the head of Noah Chari. He got a match penalty. He was ejected as well. And Nikita Zadorov, actually a couple of Chiclets alumni here. He got 2 games for an illegal check to the head of Detroit's Lucas Raymond. Also got a match penalty ejection. Whit, any dispute with the suspension? They're right on target, more or less.
The Zadorov one made sense, right? He's cutting across the middle, all on it. He gets, shoulder to head. And same for Dillon. The Dillon one, the argument is like, I think Achari had his head down from blue line to blue line. And so there's not much onus, I guess, on the player and protecting himself, getting his head up and seeing what's coming. Like if Dillon had just gone shoulder to chest, that's one of the best hits we've seen this year. I mean, he stepped up perfectly, he lined him up. Yeah, I guess I don't know why he gets an extra game compared to Zadorov. Like that one to me would seem pretty similar in terms of 2 games each. The one with Achari, though, it was just jolting to see his helmet pop off like that. Maybe that's what got him the extra game, is the helmet going 20 feet in the air. But I know it was very close to being the perfect body check, and unfortunately he got a little too high. But sometimes it's like, I think Ray Ferraro tweeted, like, you got to pick your head up. And Achari's a tough guy. I mean, he was able to get up from that and somehow be okay. I don't really know how. It looked like it could have killed someone, but you got to just pick your head up a little bit, see where guys are out there, know who's on the ice. And that's what happens if you skate that long in an NHL game and don't lift your head up once. I think he lost the puck a little bit at the beginning, and maybe that's why he looked down and kept his head down. But that was a vicious hit.
Yeah, shout out to the guys who don't have to look down when they stick handle, man. That's that must be a hell of an experience.
Big time talent.
I bet the height difference probably was a factor too as well. Brendan's a lot taller than Chari too. I'm sure that was a factor. But boys, we just talked about Zadorov, Vancouver Canuck. We got one of his teammates, Brock Boeser. Whit, this guy's a smooth criminal, huh? He's like the blonde hair, he's just like a cool cat. He is wicked chill. Yeah,
type
he
of
was
guy who
chill.
wants to sit on the boat in the summer, do a little fishing, slam back a few beers, maybe a little country music.
Yeah.
Brock Boeser.
Looking
Enjoy,
good while
folks.
doing it. And I in terms of the interview, we really appreciate him coming on. We didn't go into depth of him losing his dad and what he had to go through. He mentions it real quickly, but we didn't really want to bring that up. It was All-Star weekend. It was exciting time for him, so that doesn't really come up. But we got to just hear his motivation going into this season and what's been going right for him. So thanks a lot to Brock Boeser for joining us, and here he is.
All right, before we go any further, here's a word from our friends at True Classic Tees. With the new year in full swing, gang, True Classics activewear shirts and shorts are your go-to for making moves. This shirt right here, put it on the other day, super comfy stuff. Gee, I know you got some of the wear too as well.
Yeah, I'm wearing the sweatshirt right now. They gave me some sweatpants too. They actually gave me a nice Henley long sleeve, tons of t-shirts. I'm always struggling to find good, I don't want to say undershirts, but I like to layer my clothes. You wear a button down with a white shirt underneath it. They sent me a bunch of white tees, so needed. So yeah, it's helped me out a bunch. I absolutely love True Classic, especially because of how comfortable it is, how well fitting it is. When you wash it, it stays true to form. So I'm a huge True Classics guy.
Absolutely, I'm the same. Things aren't always easy to find for a guy like me in my shape, but the activewear crew necks, unbelievable moisture wicking, odor control, quick dry, antimicrobial finish, maximum comfort. That's the thing. It's like I'm wearing nothing at all. Valentine's Day date. No problem. Dress for success with True Classics button-ups and chino pants that stretch to make you look good. And the best part is that True Classics sells premium products at an affordable price. You get their best-selling t-shirts, hoodies, jeans, and more in 3, 6, and 9 packs. In True Classic fashion, they have re-engineered outerwear for men. Can never have too much outerwear, especially wintertime, and True Classic also offers stylish and comfortable outerwear range from lightweight puffer jackets to cashmere sweaters, fleece jackets, and bomber jackets. They're not too bulky or too tight, perfect for wearing with your favorite True Classic products.
All right, I will say the boxers, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 boxers. You got to try them if you haven't.
Oh, they're in the package there. I got to bust them out because these old school ones, you see my itching problem on the road. I got to take care of that. Not going to happen with this stuff, though. I'll tell you that. Not too bulky, not too tight. Perfect for wearing your favorite True Classic products. Again, the beading and scarf, you're all set. So if you're ready to upgrade your closet, shop now with my exclusive link at trueclassic.com. Chiclets and save up to 25% on your first order. No matter how you move, make 2024 your most comfortable year yet with True Classic. All right, we left.
No, we're keeping that. We're keeping that. We're keeping that, RA. All right.
We got Brock Boeser.
We got Brock Boeser. Here we go.
We'd like to bring on our next guest. This 26-year-old forward from Minnesota was taken 23rd overall by Vancouver at the 2015 NHL draft. He was named to the 2018 All-Rookie team and was the All-Star Game MVP in his first appearance. Currently in his 8th season already as a Canuck, he set a career high with 30 goals and still has 33 games to go. It's great to welcome to the Spittin Chiclets podcast, Brock Boeser. Congratulations on the All-Star nod, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Where do you think your boy Buble got his mushrooms? This guy right here.
Great question. I thought he got them from you.
No, I like the mushrooms too. I don't know if I'd be doing them before I went to an NHL skills comp before I had to get on the podium.
I'm pretty sure you'd be doing them.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I think you do it like before TNT.
I will say my first experience doing mushrooms was at Bonnaroo, and it was through Choclair. And it was given to me by, it was Upshaw and Lupul. And they said, hey, only eat about 1/4 of it. So I ate about 1/4 of it, started going about 45 minutes later. I didn't feel shit. So I'm like, fuck this. I grabbed the rest of it, threw it down the hatch. And then one of them came up and was like, hey, somebody else is going to grab a nibble off that one. Can we get it back? And I was like, I wasn't feeling anything. So I just downed it. And they're like, that's probably a little bit too much for your first time. And then the anxiety went along with the drugs, and then I was done. I was in a camper for 2 hours looking at the wall.
Kind of like playing in Vancouver when it isn't going good, eh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Amen.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Vancouver fans.
No. Hey, but it can be a difficult place to play, but this year must be so awesome right now with the mojo you guys got going.
Oh, it's been a blast. Obviously, it's been the most fun that I've had in my 7-8 years there, and just getting the thing finally going. I think we've talked about it for years that we can be a team that can make the playoffs, and now that we're finally playing this type of hockey, it's been a blast.
When Talk came in last year, was it pretty cool just to see how he is with the guys? I mean, I think having played the way he did and as long as he did, you just have this automatic respect for him.
Oh, for sure. I think we all knew kind of the type of guy we were getting, and I think we didn't realize how detailed he would be. He was very detailed, and kind of right off the bat, he kept talking about this standard, and we didn't really have a standard to kind of base our game off of. And he came in and he really wanted us to create a standard. And, at the end of last season, he talked to all the guys returning and really wanted us to have a big summer and come back early and try and create the standard. And I feel like we've done a good job of that. And, Talk and the whole coaching staff's been great to us.
I think you guys... I think that happened fast. Hey, I feel like anyway. How much? Yes, it's Talk. He has to give you something, but the buy-in from the guys in there. You guys, there's lots of guys on your team swirled. There's rumor. You've been rumors.
Oh yeah,
rumor boys.
That's always fun.
Yeah, Bess has
We're
been
creating half of them.
We create.
Oh yeah.
But I want to with all that kind of stuff swirling around your team, and the coach just gave you like a template, and you guys had to buy in, right? So a lot to do with the group you guys have too.
For sure. Yeah, I think just a commitment from everyone. I think we had everyone there like 3 weeks before camp started, and we had our skills coach out there. We were skating together, and just seeing that, I think, and Quinn showed up as the new captain, and he was really pushing the pace, and he was trying to get us scrimmaging and going all out right away. So it was cool to see, and I don't think we really had that buy-in before, and I think everyone's just committed, and we got such a great group of guys. So it's been going well. So
when you say you didn't realize he was so detailed about the game and Talk, obviously I worked with him at TNT, and you could see him behind this, between periods we watch, and he'll be shaking his head every time there's a goal because he'll see the breakdown as opposed to the skilled play of it.
Yeah.
What are some examples of things that he had to come in to fine tune to really improve your guys' game, especially from a defensive standpoint?
Yeah, for sure. I think he's very, one of the big things, at least for me, and I think he talks about a lot is body positioning. He's big on body positioning and, getting into guys and, not worrying about the puck and just, taking their body and then worry about the puck. Just say some other things is just he gets on the ice before everyone. like he's always like the first guy on the ice. Like you just see him come grab like a fucking hand. Oh, excuse my French.
Oh no,
you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, you could pretty much
Grab a handful of gum, throw it in his pocket, and walk out, and no one's on the ice yet.
And everyone's like, I gotta get going.
Yeah, so then like he works with every single guy, whoever it is. He doesn't care where you are in the lineup. He goes out there and he's one of the first guys on the ice, grabbing guys and doing extra drills with them before practice. So it's awesome to see.
So that was one of the things, like I was talking to him, not too much, right? Because he's, it's a stressful job dealing with the media there, of course, trying to get your group to where they're at. But like he mentioned that he tries to go out and talk to at least a few guys every day, even just a conversation for if it's 5-10 minutes. So like how important is that to you guys as a team? And did he grab you early on and come up and talk to you about your game and then even life in general?
Yeah. He, I think after like one of the first games, because he came in, I think we had a game pretty fast. And right after that, he talked to me and just pulled me aside and just he was just trying to get to know everyone, I think. And he didn't know much about me, he said, but he's best boys with Travis Green, our old coach. So Greener gave him some intel. But yeah, he's always skating around talking to guys, and I think that makes everyone feel special and feel like they have a spot with talk. So I think that helps.
Along with the fact that like all the other guys he brought in too, like footy. I mean, you guys have Yo there, Gonchar's around, the Sedins are around. Like, how much of an impact having all those legends around and kind of helping you guys establish this winning culture?
Yeah, I think it's been huge, and they've all been great. Gonch is there for a couple of weeks, and then he leaves for a couple of weeks, so we always give him some shit about that. But footy's been great back there. Those two work so closely with the D, and they always come in, between every intermission and talk with the D about, just I think little details. They whisper, so we have no idea what they're going on. They could just be blaming the forwards for everything.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
For sure, those scumbags.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, I mean, you anytime you're on the ice in practice, like if you want to work on something after or before, there's all those guys.
You
can go to anyone. Yeah, you can pick whoever.
Which Hall of Famer am I going to?
Yeah, exactly. It's great.
Is Mike Yo running the power play?
No, Talk is.
Talk is, really?
Yeah. So, Talk has the first unit. Sedins have the second unit.
Okay, so Talk's. I mean, this power play this year, it's crazy. Like, there's obviously you guys have crazy puck movement. You're always bouncing around. You're finding that empty area in the slot. So, was that an enormous thing in camp? Like, let's get a power play that's just buzzing this year, because you have 5 guys that should be scoring at a pretty legit rate.
Yeah, I think we've at least 4 of us have been together a while. Me, Millsy, Petey, and Huggy. So I think we work well together. And obviously we had Kuzi there, but now I'm not sure what the power play setup's gonna be. But yeah, I think Talk came in and he's big on movement, and you know, if things are getting stale, just someone start moving and then kind of read off that. So it's been good. We went through a little slump here, but I think we started to pick it up again.
Because the thing is about expectations going into this year, Talk, mentioning this standard, but until the season starts, there's always a little doubt. So then for that opening night game, just to wax my Oilers, but that must have meant a lot. And obviously, and then you come back and you beat them again. So it's like, all right, boys, we're buying in and we're seeing results. So it just shoots everything off quicker.
And what'd you have that night? 3 or 4?
4.
Oh my!
Oh, just 4.
Just pull the monkey right off the back. Give him
Might have stole one from Millsy.
Yeah.
No one knows that.
Yeah, I stole a few of my career. That's the answer.
Yeah, I get those.
I got my stick on it.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I think it just meant a lot to our group to show that the hard work paid off. For getting there early, we had a really good camp. I think. Thought we pushed the pace hard, and actually, I don't think we won a ton of preseason games. So,
oh really?
Yeah. So then we were like, all right, we better get dialed in here. But yeah, I think just getting that result and then beating them again at the start of that, we had I think a 6-game road trip was big for our group, and that was a fun game.
Yeah.
What's the method to your madness? Was it a big summer of training why you've had this incredible start to the season? I mean, sometimes as a goal scorer, it's just when you get in the right rhythm, it's more of just a mental thing, right?
For sure, yeah. I think, just being in a good headspace mentally, I felt really motivated and driven this past summer of just kind of getting back to my game and loving the game and stuff. So I think I kind of, last year was kind of like a motivation thing. It was hard to come to the rink sometimes and really, just be there and work hard and just from some of the stuff that I've gone through. So I think just that, like a clear headspace, and that's kind of what I told Patrick Alvin. I met with him at the end of last year, and I just kind of told him, like, I feel good again, like I feel motivated. I feel like I found the love again. So that's kind of what I told him for the reason why I wanted to stay. So then I went home, had a good summer of training, and things have gone well so far.
We've had lots of guys on. Even McKinnon was open about it and working with like a mental coach. Did you end up having to work with anybody off the ice in order to help get you back in that mindset?
Yeah. I've worked with a mental coach, life coach for probably like a year and a half now. So yeah, we were working through it all last season too. So it was, I was very thankful for him last year.
And it takes time. It's not going to be an immediate like fix. So you see after a year, it's like, all right, now I'm starting to feel like myself again.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's just really focusing, on little things over time and trying to get back to the right mindset. And obviously just, I lost my dad. So I'm just dealing with that, just trying to figure out how to cope with that. So he's, my coach has helped me through a lot.
After you're going through that, I got to imagine like this year feels pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Oh, it feels
like coming
great.
out of that, like battling through that, like all the people that helped you, your family, everybody, teammates, I'm sure. And like to be like you're being rewarded. Obviously you're a fucking pretty good player, but it's like to come through that and what you're dealing with this year is just unreal. Hey.
Yeah. I think I've always had that belief in me that I can score a lot of goals in this league. And even though I haven't over the past 3-4 years or whatever it's been, I've always had that belief deep inside me. And to finally do it and finally get over 30 can shut the Vancouver media up for a little bit.
It's like a career year, buddy. You're
already.
I know.
February.
Yeah, they can get a little negative, but it's so good that you guys have had a good start. We don't really have to focus on that, right, R.A.?
Absolutely. Regarding Quinn, you ever play with a defenseman anywhere near his level? Does he just make you kind of shake your head every day in practice?
You guys call him Huggy?
Huggy, yeah.
That's his name?
Yeah.
Why is that? Like just...
Yeah.
Hughes, Hug.
Hughes, Huggy.
H-U-G,
I don't
the
know.
first three letters of his name.
They just did the hockey player thing busy.
We're going to let them rip on me. You guys fucking done here?
Yeah.
It wasn't that stupid of a question, was it?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Biz, I was wondering too. Sorry, go ahead, Brock.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't think I've ever played with a D like Quinn, but just the things he can do in a game is pretty insane. Like when he's power turning or spinorama at the blue line when there's no one else back. It's like, what are you doing? But then he walks. Yeah, he walks the guy, and then he has a 2-on-1 or 4-on-3 or whatever it is going to the net and scores or snipes, and you're like, all right, whatever.
It's like a video game.
Yeah, it's crazy. Or even like in the neutral zone, if he gets a puck and gets a guy on his back, it's just one power turn and he's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Or he does a little ankle break at the blue line. He's painting in the corner. You think he's done in 2 strides. He's out of there.
Yeah. Sometimes he does a little too much, so we get on him. But it's all right.
Yeah.
I like kind of going back to the beginning, right? Minnesota kid, and like just grow up loving the game right away. I don't know if you were really good right away. Was it something that you just took a passion to right off the get-go?
Yeah, I think I had a hockey stick in my hand before I could remember. My cousin played college hockey at Wisconsin. I think I was pretty young for that, so I always would go there, and I had family in Wisconsin.
Looking up to him.
Yeah, oh yeah. So big Wisconsin guy. I was actually committed there at one point, and then I decoded, and that's when I committed.
I've been learning.
You got a bag from North Dakota. Yeah, they probably put just a duffel bag on his front doorstep.
Duffel.
I mean, but no discussion to go to Minnesota. A lot of Minnesota kids, that was never even. It was Wisconsin, then North Dakota. There was no Gophers in your life.
Yeah, I mean, because my cousin played at Wisconsin, I hated the Gophers.
Okay, I love that.
So I went on a visit there 2 different times. I tried to see if I could like it. I just couldn't do it.
2 different visits.
Yeah.
Nope. No,
you wanted to go to Fargo.
Grand Forks.
Grand Forks.
Yeah.
Even better.
What, you went there and you feel like you just didn't gel there? Like, what was it?
Minnesota? Well, to be honest, my sophomore year of high school, we were going on a visit, and we were sitting in the parking lot, and we called them. They're like, hey, where are you? And they're like, oh, we got to reschedule. So that was tough off the bat. Yeah.
Buddy, I'm up.
That wasn't good.
This is over. This is over.
That wasn't good, but
holy shit.
Who's the recruiter?
But they also, like, there's some other factors. Like, they have Olympic sized rink. I think they just changed it.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah, it was
Played out
huge.
there
Like
in college.
I wanted to go somewhere where I could develop and, try and get ready for the NHL.
For real hockey.
Yeah.
Skating's not exactly your like biggest strong.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
Get me off the
Absolutely not.
We actually had a guy on recently. I forget who it was, but they said, "Hey, we're going to commit to you, and we're also going to commit to this other guy. We need you to drive him and his family down for the recruiting trip." So he ended up driving this kid, and 6 hours they went. And when they got there, the kid got in the room, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not going to commit to you, but thanks for driving the other kid who they committed to."
Cord.
Oh yeah.
Going in Seattle, they're like, "Hey, come up. We got a scholarship for you. Drive these other 2 kids up," and they offered the other 2 full rides, and they were like, "Sorry, we
weren't allowed to name the school because he didn't want it." But how gutless is that? Hey, at least you didn't get that job.
That's embarrassing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance, like Minnesota high school hockey tournament? It's so cool. We've talked a lot about you play for your town in Minnesota. Like it's all travel and different in Massachusetts at least, but we want to get out to that high school tournament at some point.
Oh, you got it.
Did you make it to the? Oh, you never got to the big.
Never made it. Yeah, we always had to play Edina, and they were always a wagon. So
Edina, that's
Bigger
the one
town.
I hear about all the time. There, I see it always. All the clips of them. Yeah, they're solid. Hey,
yeah, they're solid.
You still have the hair.
Town.
You still have the
Cake
hair
eaters.
from that tournament, hey, buddy? You still got the hockey hair from that.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't look good with short hair, so we'll keep it with long.
So you went to North Dakota. The facilities, the way they handle their business there. I'm sure you guys are like flying to games. You got your own fucking dialed in bus. Like basically, like feel like you're playing in the NHL before you get to the NHL.
Yeah, I think so. When I decommitted and I was in Waterloo at the time, I started visiting some schools again, and Dave Haxall, I'm not sure if this was legal or not, but he flew down and saw me in Waterloo for 45 minutes at like a Starbucks, and then flew back to Grand Forks.
So you're like, this guy wants me.
Yeah. So then I was like, oh, that's sweet. I went on a visit there. I've never been there before. And it was a Thanksgiving weekend series, and it was sold out with no students there. And I was like, what is this?
Oh, yeah, because they're all back home.
Yeah.
Oh, they love hockey there, though, hey?
But I never knew anything about the Ralph. Like, I had no idea what I was walking into. Like, 2-gate airport, assistant coach picks me up. I'm like, where am I?
Yeah.
And then
all hunters.
Then you go to the fucking Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of the strip
and,
mall.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is going on? And then, yeah, I don't know. I just kind of fell in love with the place.
Why did you decommit from Wisconsin? They were struggling a little bit. Yeah,
they were struggling. I think. No offense to them, like it was my dream school, but yeah, they had only had a few wins, and it wasn't looking too hot there. I think they fired a couple coaches and stuff, so it just wasn't the time.
So Haxtell looks like a pretty intense guy. I don't think his maybe first run around with the Flyers went that great, but Seattle guys seem to love him.
I didn't have Hack though, so he recruited me, and then he signed to go to the pro to Philly, I think.
Okay.
And then Brad Berry took over. So Hack recruited me, but then I never had him.
Just from the short time, that 45 minutes, what did he say to you for you to be like, yes, I want to go to North Dakota?
I think he just, he's just a guy that like he cared. He like cared to get to know me, and then he kind of talked about the hockey and where I'd fit in, and then like how you can develop as a player, just kind of everything they have with their gym, and you can go skate whenever you want. You can turn the lights on if you want and go skate. So it was, I don't know, he's just, he's really great to my family and my parents up on a visit, just them. And
oh, really? Without you there?
Yeah, without me there, and hosted them. And so he was just really great. And yeah.
That's a hockey school though, right? Like you're there. And if anyone's never been there, like you said, there's not much there. I've driven through there a bunch of times heading home, but you're going there because you love hockey. You want to play hockey. It's all hockey, right?
Yeah, straight hockey.
Did you have any like panic when Haxtell left to turn pro? You're like, well, I signed to be with this guy. Like, I don't know. Do I still want to go there? Or were you already kind of all bought in on being?
Yeah, I was all bought in. Like, part of the reason I committed there is because I was comfortable with all the coaches. So they all did a good job. Like, they all took different turns on coming to watch me play when I was in Waterloo. So I got to know Brad Berry. I got to know Dane Jackson, and then just kind of assumed one of them was going to take over, so I was still comfortable.
Like, I got a letter from North Dakota back in the day.
Did you?
You couldn't even have got in there, buddy.
I got a letter, but then I found out like everyone got a letter from North Dakota.
Business like I didn't.
I know. You're way over there.
I never even took my SATs.
They were hunting down Sasky boys.
Brock, what's this thing called the altitude room you guys have in North Dakota?
Okay, so I've never seen it yet, because I haven't been back in a few years, but supposedly they put this altitude room in with, bikes and weights and stuff. And anytime they're going to play Denver or Colorado College, they just work out in this altitude room, and it's like you're up in the mountains.
So you don't get pounded that first period, like when you go play the Avs, you're just like,
yeah.
He doesn't know. Best doesn't know what it is. He hasn't seen it yet, but he paid for it.
No. Ralph paid for it. Ralph paid for it.
He's got the bags.
Yeah.
Remember that when guys used to get letters sent to them? I remember like Orp and all those guys like, hey, we want some of your money from their colleges.
Oh yeah.
You got to donate back.
Oh, yeah, you got to donate.
Do they do that to you?
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've gotten a couple calls.
They'll be doing that to you for the next 50 years of your life too.
Well, the shitty part is the guy that's calling me is one of my ex-teammates and one of like our best buddies. And what we won.
Hey, buddy, you want to go golf? Oh yeah, and you got an extra 20K kicking around.
He'd rather have us spend it on our golf trip.
You guys won it when you were there?
Yeah, my freshman year.
Oh my God, that's fucking unbelievable.
It's kind of surprising. Like, I don't know if you had the chance. You won it. You lit it up. 27 goals as a freshman. Any thought of going pro?
Like not really, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. I think I think Jim Benning and the assistant GM were at the Frozen Four watching, and they had a dinner with my parents, I think, and kind of pretty much talked about like that I was gonna stay again.
Okay.
Like they were comfortable with it, and I think like I already had my mindset that I was comfortable staying a second year. And the first year is all, roses and all that, but the second year is like it's harder than the first year.
Yeah,
you lose my line mates, and I think that's where I kind of developed the most of learning things and
little adversity too.
Yeah, adversity, yeah, for sure.
Who were your line mates your first year?
Nick Schmaltz and Drake Kajula.
Oh, Schmaltz, he can fucking snap.
He's a stud.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah, him and Kells are fun to watch.
Yeah,
they got that good chemistry as well.
Still can't believe Chicago got rid of him.
Yeah.
This guy,
that's crazy.
That's not a guy you'd trade. This NHL, the way he skates,
he's so underrated.
Yeah, he is.
It ended up being like a pretty fair trade, although Chicago moved on from Strome, because like Strome turned into a player too. Yeah. I think he's playing pretty good for Washington.
Yeah, it's true. But
Brock, did you ever hear from the national program at all? Did they reach out to you?
Yeah, so I think I got invited to like that 40 camp or something, but my family had vacation going to Florida, and I don't think I've ever gone to Florida at that point. So, and I wanted to play high school hockey, so I knew I wasn't going there.
Okay.
So I skipped out on it, but then after the 40 camp, they still called and asked if I wanted to be on the team. So that was tough to turn down. And then
wow, you turned that down. That's tough, right?
Yeah, but I mini boy, you got to play high school hockey.
I know.
Right?
I know.
You got to play.
Yeah, you have that option.
Yeah,
right. Like it's good hockey.
Yeah, it's really good hockey with your buddies. So then I knew I was leaving after my junior year. They asked me to come again, but I heard that it's kind of like, they already have the team. They kind of have their lines and stuff. So it might be a little harder to have a role there. And Waterloo traded for me. So that was a 3-hour drive from my house. And I just thought it was a better option.
It's mature, man.
Well, I just love it because there's so, like, we talked to Fantilli, his path, he's an Ontario kid. He went to the USHL.
Yeah.
And kind of did that route, and it's just like, who ditches out on the GTHL, And so like there's lots of different ways to do it, I think. So I think good on you for that.
Yeah.
Like seeing what's best for you to play with your friends, be happy, touch a puck a lot, fit in. Yeah. I think that's so important.
It didn't make you nervous at all that you could have maybe went and got better, quote unquote, better development, or at that time you just valued your friendship time? And
I had Tommy Novak on the Preds. He was a stud in high school hockey, and Waterloo traded for him too, and we were like line mates growing up in summer hockey. So I think that played a part in it. He was going to Waterloo, and then a best buddy I grew up with from Burnsville, he was in Waterloo for a year before, and I think they went to the finals. And I've heard so many great things about Waterloo, so I just thought it was a good option.
Yeah.
When you got to Van, who were some of because you left right up, you played some games right after your sophomore year, right?
Yeah.
So you get to at least get the feel of the league before training camp the next year. Were there vets that helped you out right away? Was there anyone that kind of made it a little easier for you?
Yeah, I'd say Chris Tanev. He's a weapon.
He's everyone met
loves
him
that
and played
guy.
with
He's a
him
top
loves
5
him.
beauty in the league for sure.
Really?
I also heard he's a mutant in the gym too. I guess work ethic is top notch.
Yeah, he's a pro at everything.
And he goes.
He's like a dad. He was like a dad to me, Petey, and Huggy when he was in Vancouver, and he'd always have us over for dinners and stuff. And if all the boys are going out, he'll go out and be the last one there with you, and then he'll be the first in the gym the next day. And
Pro.
Yeah, you have no idea that he was out the night.
It's like a modern day Chelios. I'm sure you've heard some Chelios stories of him. He'd be in that altitude room riding the bike.
Yeah.
How would you describe your personal life? Like in the summer times when you're back home, like are you just hanging out with your buddies on the boat? You're a pretty chill
just
guy.
lake man
You seem
shit.
like a very laid back person.
Yeah, I live on the lake back home, and
What
honestly,
lake? What's the lake to be on? I don't want to give away.
There's Tonka, right?
there's Tonka, but I'm not on Tonka.
That's the spot, hey? Lots of hockey guys.
It's big though. That one.
Yeah, if you want to get your big boat and have a contest, who has the biggest boat?
Yeah.
The dick measuring contest on Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah.
How big's your boat, bud?
No, I don't know. I know.
Talk to him here. You'll have a fucking yacht over there.
No shit.
He's gonna be like one of the oil
He keeps
tycoons.
like sending guys texts. Wait till you see my boat next summer.
Yeah, he's gonna like
I know.
Prince in Dubai.
I know some guys that live on Tonka, like JBR, and I don't know if I should say that, but some NHL guys, but it's just not for me.
No, that's so you live on like a small
Yeah,
one.
it's
That's
like
more,
30 minutes south of Tonka, and a little more laid back. And honestly, I don't go on the lake as much as I used to. Anytime I have time off, I want to go golf. So
that's your thing.
I golf.
But you still wake up every day, you walk out there
Yeah,
with a coffee, and you're like, oh, fuck, life's pretty good, hey?
yeah, it's pretty nice.
That's my dream.
Can't complain.
That's my dream.
You look like a country music guy too.
Yeah, a little bit.
No,
I'm a Lumineers guy.
Lumineers.
Oh.
That's Tyson Berry's friends. Have you?
Yeah.
Do you know Tyson?
Luke
Berry?
Shen told me that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're like
Yeah.
super tight. I think that because when he was in Colorado and that's where they reside full time. So that's nice though. You get to like go back home and chill and lay low and do some golf. And now we do these sandbagger videos.
Yeah.
Are you pretty good? You a scratch?
I'm like 2.8. I think I ended
Who
summer
would
at.
be your partner?
Probably Nicky Schmaltz.
He's sick, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what happens. Vince. We need one like you, and one like me. Yeah, because we would get gassed by I think you and Schmaltz.
Yeah, he's pretty.
He's nasty.
So is his
plus
brother.
two, I think. Jordo is not good at golf.
Jordan, he's pretty good. He's got a great putter. I went with him.
A
like
great
probably.
putter.
No, I would say
He's not a great
if you-
putter. He's got a great.
I
putter.
love
12.
Jordo, but if he must be really good to you, then you must be really shit.
I'm shit. I'm shit. Well, that about ends the interview.
Did you say no offense before you said that? If you say no offense before, then you can say that.
Oh, you're gonna be getting a rumor boy at the deadline. Yeah. Besser on the blocks. I love it.
Speaking of that, the team just picked up Elias Lindholm. I know you had to say goodbye to a teammate, but I'm guessing the boys are pretty pumped on like the group text.
Boys, you guys are a cup contender right now.
We're not worried about that right now.
Okay, eye on the prize.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't.
I think
like that.
we're just worried about like I think continuing to play like the way we've been playing. Like I think we just don't want to let this break get to us. I think it was November where we would win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game. And that was kind of rough. And then we started to figure it out again. So I think it's kind of like maintaining the standard right now. But to what you said, Ari, I think Lindy is, we've played against him a lot over the years, and he's always a guy that's really hard to play against and can score goals, and he's responsible everywhere he is on the ice. So I think he's going to help our team.
And he played on the same line with Petey on their national program, right? In Sweden, I think.
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
Great question. That'd be nice.
He's on the
I hope
internet,
so.
So it must be true.
There's a few more things I'd like to cover with the Vancouver team specifically, but like I feel like your guys' depth has really stepped up this year. Like a lot of guys, Mikheyev, double digits of goals very early, Hoglander, Dakota Joshua. Like I feel like that's been a big catalyst to this group and where you guys are at. Like who to you has been the biggest surprise in where they've jumped from last year to this year?
Even like Teddy Bluger.
I mean, that's a great question. Like, there's so many guys. Many guys have bought in, and on our fourth line, you got Hogs and Lafferty are in double-digit goals, and they just buzz. Like they just.
Hoglander's skilled.
He's
too.
so good. Oh,
I don't think he'll be on the fourth line in a couple of years.
Yeah, that's why I said fourth line. Like he's a guy that he's so good when he gets a puck in the offensive zone and he's quick and he's a tank. Like he's built,
hammering
he's strong.
He
Yeah,
hit Turbo from Seattle this year and buckled them.
yeah, he's so strong.
brick.
And and even our third line, like Bluger, Joshua, and Garland. I think Joshua already said career high in goals, and Garley's buzzing again, and Teddy's. I think he set a career high in points. Like these guys are playing great together and meshing well.
What's it like when JT snaps? Because there's obviously moments you're watching, you're like, this guy's losing his mind. Our boy Pasha talks about his body language all the time, like he's a therapist. But it seems like there's moments where you're like, oh boy, like calm down, JT, like relax.
He's fiery.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, obviously, over the years, everyone's talked about it. He's gotten a lot better.
So you've noticed a little change?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's changed, and we're really close. Like we've played a lot together, and he cares so much, and he just wants to win so bad, and he's very emotional, which is I think a good thing. He's handled it so well lately, and I think he's been such a good leader for our younger guys this year, and he communicates well, and he's always talking, which is good, and so I don't know, Pasha just sees.
He's a hater.
Take a shot
He's
at
a
him.
piece of shit.
He's just taking L after L after L about this.
He said he's a power play merchant too.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's true. I think the reason I score 5-on-5 is because of Millsy. I mean, I personally think Millsy's one of the best guys down low with the puck in the league.
Hard to get from him.
Like he's so good, yeah, so hard.
Is your team like? Is a lot of chirping from the bench, a lot of like shit talking, like guys like Hoglander seems like he might get in people's faces, or is it more just go about the business type team?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much chirping unless it's Garley if he's
Garland gets going.
I don't know.
Oh, he had
I think he's
McKinnon
been a lot
chuck a
better, to
helmet
be
at him.
honest.
Remember when McKinnon chucked his helmet at him?
Yeah.
He can get under guys' skin.
I forgot about
Yeah, I don't know if he does it so much anymore, but I think if there's anyone chirping, it might be like Joshua, Garley, or Millsy.
Yeah.
I think Thatcher Demko is the other guy that I wanted to talk about. Like, I mean, we had him on the podcast. He's told an incredible story about getting robbed at gunpoint.
Yeah. Oh, gee.
Did he tell you about that?
Yeah, I've heard this story a few times.
I mean, he seems like a great normal guy. I mean, normally the attendees are a little bit fucked up in the head. But he seems like a great guy, and he's been a big reason why you guys are where you're at right now too.
Yeah, he's a stud. Like he's I think we've known this for a few years now, even on our teams that haven't been so good, he was good for us, and I think it's just showing now that we have a solid team, we have a solid decor of how good he can really be.
What about the Lotto line? How, like, deep down you got to think that's a pretty sick name, right? Yeah. There's no cool names anymore. There's no names anymore. Nicknames were so cool. I think that's just. And I know they put it together for a chunk this year, maybe a little bit last year, right? Maybe once.
Yeah, maybe once.
But
not
when you
really
guys get going, the Lotto line's buzzing, hey?
Yeah, we were buzzing out the gate. On that, I think New Jersey, New York, that little road trip there, and then we went back home and we weren't really doing so hot, so then we got split up again. But we've had. I think it was Millsy's first year when he came to Vancouver with Travis Green. We were put together and we played most of the season together and we had some success. So
I think I was working the Pens game when you guys were rolling through that road trip. You guys didn't lose a game.
Yeah.
I think PD had 4 points and they all had 3 points. Yeah. Like he had 2 goals. Like they just lit it up. Yeah. It was crazy. I love that. A Lotto line.
What's your hair routine? A lot of the ladies, Vancouver Canucks fans, love to ask about that. They're always tweeting these pictures of you. You look a lot like the guy in Shrek. What's
like the Disney Prince
Charming?
Prince Charming.
Prince Charming guy. I see
he loves it. He loves it.
No, judging by his face, he doesn't love that comparison anymore.
He loves it.
Do you have like a special routine? Do you blow it out?
No, honestly, no.
It's just natural.
I've had a girlfriend for a few years. I just wear toque all the time, so I don't really care to do my hair.
You got a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Couple years? Are you thinking about maybe?
Jesus, Biz.
Yeah, one day at a time, Biz.
Okay.
Yeah, one day at a time.
He'd rather answer questions about winning the cup this year.
Yeah.
He went back to a hockey cliche to answer.
We got a TMZ portion of our show that we like to do, so we like to ask about the personal.
You got a girl?
I'm back. I'm back on the market. I'm single.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, we could do this. For
I actually fired up that Raya app recently.
Oh,
back on.
I think we've all been there before.
Oh, buddy.
I
that
never
thing
have.
is gold.
I wouldn't even have got on that thing. I wouldn't have been allowed.
I actually already
cool
sent me a
enough.
request the other day. I think you might hop back on it. So.
But I wouldn't even know what to fucking do online dating.
Oh, yeah.
Be like, hey, you
Way
a
ahead of
movie
my-
fan?
Yeah. Have you seen Raiders of the Lost Ark? Another guy you added, Nikita Zadorov. Obviously, great muscle on the back end, but is he a big comic relief in the room? We had him on the show. Like,
Yeah, he's great. Yeah,
He
he's
likes
great.
his suits, too.
Yeah, he's great. He's the guy, that, him and Millsy and Gar, they like to give it in a little circle there and give it to each other. So it's pretty good.
a Massol or a Ruski and JT Miller just fucking giving shit to each other.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, there's a lot of laughs in the locker room.
So as for the All-Star team, your game ball, hopefully, like I said, stay away from Bublé's water bottle there. But I think 5 Canucks on the team. You guys talk about who's going to play with who. You just kind of wing it, go have some fun out there.
I think Quinn has some lines in his head. We'll see if he tells us in a few hours.
Oh, is Bublé around the team?
I'm not sure. I don't know if he's gonna be on the bench.
He's going to be on the bench like,
I meant
who's got
Van.
the
I
pick?
meant-
and Van.
See him in Van a little bit?
Randomly. Yeah.
We
I think-
interviewed him. He loves the Canucks.
Oh, loves the Canucks. Yeah, loves the
Sicko.
boys. Yeah, he loves it. I think he was on tour for a bit, or the last couple of years or something, so he wasn't really around a lot, but I think he's done, so I've seen him a few times this year.
Well, I got nothing else, buddy. It's amazing to see this run you're on. The whole team. It's gonna. Unfortunately, you got to play Edmonton in the second round. So, but
You're back on their train?
I never left.
Oh,
I just
liar.
I just stopped tweeting
Liar.
about it.
I always like to ask the guys, do you have anything to ask us?
I don't think so, no.
Because sometimes
Can
conversation.
I leave?
I already asked the question I wanted to ask.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right. Well, I'll shut
Brock
the fuck
Boeser,
up.
folks.
Elect
Lighten it up.
All right, before we go any further, here's a few words from our friends at Game Time. Listen, gang, you should not have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. That's why you want to use Game Time. It's the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, theater, anything that's coming to you. Boom, check it out. This weekend, we're going to Stadium Series. Cannot wait. Game Time hooked it up. This is an unbelievable feature. They got all kinds of deals, like they got the flash deals, zone deals. You say, I want to be in this section. Boom, they'll find you those seats in that section. In Game Time, it's the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you get to the stadium or arena or whatever venue you're going to. All-in prices show you total up front, so you know you're getting a great deal without the hidden fees, no sandbagging going on here. You buy tickets, 2 taps, boom, 10 seconds, it's all done. Gee, you've been riding this thing all year. Other than the Stadium Series, what do you got lined up on tap next?
I don't know if I'll be allowed into MSG after this podcast anymore, but I crush MSG. I know Monday night here, me and Pasha are going over to the Devils game, obviously courtesy of our great friends at Game Time. There's so many different arenas and stadiums in this area, in the Tri-City area, whether it's the Islanders, the Rangers, the Devils. You got all the football teams, all the baseball teams, all the basketball teams. There's just so many. So I'm using Game Time all the time already.
Absolutely, buddy. The Bruins right across the street from me. I always utilize Game Time to take out my bees. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Chiclets for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code Chiclets for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Big thanks for Brock for jumping on with us, man. Great guy, great interview. Hope you enjoyed that. Got a few more news and notes here for you. Hockey USA has named Minnesota GM Billy Guerin as the GM for the 2025 Four Nations Face-Off and the 2026 Olympic squad. Whit, any surprise here that it was Billy G? Did you think someone else might have got it ahead of him?
No, not at all. I actually got a little Rumor Boys text that right before this was announced, I probably should have tweeted out that it was not only Billy Guerin running Team USA, but it was going to be Doug Armstrong running Team Canada. That hasn't been announced. I assume that will actually go down if the guy got correctly the USA one. Doug Armstrong was going to run the Canadian Olympic team before it was all canceled after the COVID mishap. I don't know what I'm talking about, COVID issue. And Billy Guerin's just perfect for this. I think his career being a part of that 96 World Cup winning team, playing as hard as he did, guys love him. His teammates have always loved him. Now the players that he represents as a general manager love him. I love this decision. I think it's perfect for USA Hockey, and I'm excited. I mean, I've talked a lot of shit that we're gonna take over. And that's going to start. That's going to start next February in Italy, boys. So now it's on Billy Guerin's shoulder to build the roster he wants. So much talent to choose from. It's going to be an amazing tournament. And I think there wasn't one person that was disappointed in this decision. I love it.
Well said, buddy. Well said. You mentioned the Beanpot final tonight, Monday here in Boston. Well, a 17-year-old freshman, Macklin Celebrini, basically ranked number one on pretty much every draft board out there. He's fucking a little breath of fresh air. Gee, roll that clip of his interview after the 4-3 win over BC last week.
It didn't go as planned. We knew what we need to do tonight, and I thought us as a whole, we fucking bounced.
For sure, and you watch how this team
goddamn right.
How much confidence does that give you heading into the championship game next week?
Attaboy, buddy.
I mean, I know not every team wants their players dropping F-bombs, but I thought it was fucking little personality, little flavor out there. Biz, should we get more profanity out in the interviews or what? Like, what's your take on dropping F-bombs live?
Yeah, it's just been maybe a little too cookie cutter. I'd like to see it go back to the days, like maybe not to the degree of during the lockouts when you had like Chelios threatening Bet and stuff like that. I mean,
no, I think he was like a fan might go after him. You never know.
I think he said, I think he needs to protect himself and his family. I was like, holy shit. He said that nowadays he might get thrown out of the league, but I love it. I love it. And much like you see the aggression and the physicality starting to pick up and maybe head back towards what we saw from the game of the past. I think that players knowing how much social media can improve their brands and their recognition, I think guys will start letting it fly a little bit more. It's a players' league, man. And Whit, you've gotten time, you've spent time with this kid. What's his personality like behind the scenes? Because if you have this much talent, you have to be tapped in a sense of where your confidence / cockiness is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I say cockiness, not in a negative sense, is like you have to have that chip on your shoulder to be that great at that age. And we talk about greatest BU players of all time, Jack Eichel. Like, is he better than what he was at that age?
Well, amazingly, he's right there. I think through 25 games, Eichel had 41 points, maybe 42, and Celebrini right now is at 41 points through 25 games. He's one goal off the NCAA goal lead that Cutter Gauthier has for BC with 23. He's got 22. He's the youngest player in college hockey by a mile. The kid doesn't turn 18 till June. And just being around him, like the cockiness isn't the right word. I know what you're saying. He is not at all. No one would ever meet this kid and think that. He's just super driven, man. And he's one of those guys where they're like, hey, you can't be on the ice this much. He wants to skate every morning. He wants to skate after practice. It's just like an amazing will by this kid and drive to be the best. And to be this good in college, which is like, I mean, you're looking at a lot of 22 to 24-year-olds, full-grown strength. He's playing against men. It's incredible to watch. And BU had the tough sweep against BC about a week prior. They lost at BC, then they lost at home, and then they go into the Beanpot. Kind of a must-win in terms of like pride for your school and getting to the Beanpot final. They go up 2-0. BC makes it 2-1. Boom, they make it 4-1. It looks like it's going to be gravy. BC came back to make it 4-3 and had about like 30 chances to tie the game. The goalie at BU, Caron, he played unbelievably. They call him Chewy. He was standing on his head. It was an awesome game. I think BU and BC will definitely match up again, whether it's hockey's semifinals or finals, and who knows about the NCAA tournament. Both teams are electric, outstanding, but Celebrini right now, and after seeing, I think the best freshman season ever is obviously Paul Kariya, 25 goals, 75 assists, 100 points as a freshman. They went on to win the national title. Probably it'll never be done again, I'm guessing, 100 points in college. But Eichel then comes in. He finished the season, I think, with 71 points. I don't know if Celebrini's going to get there, but he's even younger than Eichel was at that first year, and it's been incredible. I mean, he's the best thing about him, and I compared him like to Jonathan Taves a little bit in terms of there's zero cheating. There is no cheating to his game. There's no like, oh, I'm going to just miss my guy a little to cheat on the puck and maybe get a 2-on-1. Like, he's defensively responsible. He penalty kills. He's going to be the first overall pick. And just to show up, Biz, like for Beanpot games and anyone who's not played, like that first Monday in February, it's electric. Like, the Garden is completely full. They had the late game. Harvard Northeastern played first. And then, there had to be a couple of GMs there. Every scout in the league, every team's represented by a scout or two, and he just showed up. It's kind of what we're talking about with the Patrick Mahomes and the best players. The bigger the game, the better they play. And he came out, he scored a beautiful goal to make it 1-0. And then he scored a one-timer goal to make it 2-0 that had to be going 95 miles an hour. I'm talking right by Fowler's ear, an absolute snipe. All of a sudden, BU's got their mojo. They held on for the win. He is something else to watch. I can't wait for tonight. They got Northeastern, who they lost to a week ago, who plays them hard, who I think this is Northeastern's 6th straight Beanpot final. So the Garden is going to be electric tonight. I wish we already had the score and be able to go over the game right now. And I know this is Tuesday morning. You'll know what happened. But I can't wait to watch, and I would bet it that he gets at least one tonight, because over the weekend they played Merrimack. I think he had 1 and 2. Like, it's dominating hockey by a 17-year-old kid who realistically could be a junior in high school somewhere. So it's amazing to see, and whoever gets him first overall is in for a future stud. I just hope he goes one more year at BU.
Okay, so they do this semifinal.
That's what I'm hearing, Whit.
Oh, go ahead, G.
I was gonna say that's what I'm hearing, Whit, right now. Is rumor boys are hearing that Celebrini is pretty adamant that he wants to come back next season. He played with Cole Iserman at Shattuck. They're supposedly best friends. They're going to be 1-2 in the draft this year. They would dominate college hockey if he came back next year. But I want to ask you, in terms of development, like, has he done it all in college hockey this year? Like, he's done so much. He's so dominant. But at the end of the day, he's 17 years old. Like, going to play in a league full of grown men, like that's a huge step.
Yeah, I mean, he could easily go play in the NHL next year. My thing would be, and obviously I'm biased in hoping he returns, but my thing would be, what's the rush, right? If Chicago gets him, I think if
Chicago gets him, he'd be more
likely
to go.
Yeah.
But if it's San Jose and you're seeing more dog days ahead of you, you don't want to be playing. That would be a frustrating long season, getting chewed up. And what are you going to do? Put him first line, and he's got no other guys to snap it around with?
Because Will Smith's not going. San Jose drafted Will Smith 4th overall. I'm hearing he's not going next year either. He's going to return to BC for his sophomore season, so he would have nothing there.
So in terms of
college
the Sharks,
he's going to be buzzing next year.
The Sharks, and they get this kid James Haggins, who's coming in from the national program, who's also like, he's going to be drafted after his freshman year of college as opposed to going into college. He's going to be an absolute stud. But in looking at like the Blackhawks, if they get him, you go play with Bedard. I could understand that. But the Sharks, Biz, you're right. And the other thing is, even for the Blackhawks, for any team, it's almost like maybe push it back, because then you get 3 more years of the entry-level deal while you're a little bit better. Instead of burning a year when you're still going to be horrible, then you got to sign him to what will probably be a monster extension coming out of the entry-level deal. Just hold off, and then you get the 3 years of the low money while you're still getting better and better. As a GM, that's how I look at it.
I think what's going to happen is they're going to go back next year. They're going to sign at the end of the year. They're going to burn that year and get to play 10, 15 games, get their feet wet. And then you have one good rookie year, and then you're locked and loaded to bend the team over for 8 times 8. We know that's coming.
That's very
true.
Yeah. So also in terms of the amateur world of hockey, the 5 Nations event went on for the under 18s. I think it was USA, Sweden, Finland. I don't even know the other teams there. Maybe Switzerland.
Are you about to talk about this kid from Pittsburgh? That Army's been stroking off?
I think he's under 17, but under 18, that's where the kid Hagens plays, who's going to BC next year as underage, or the same way Celebrini is. But Sweden won. Sweden beat Team USA. They tied it up late, and then they won in overtime. This kid, Anton Frondell, holy shit, guys. And he's not this draft either. And he scored the tying goal, and he scored the winning goal with a second left, rocket one-timer. Apparently, there's some discussion, and this is a long way away. This is the 2025 draft we're talking, but he could be right there with Hagens, maybe even go in front of him. So another Swedish stud coming up into the system, and just a name to keep your eye on right there by this kid. So that's amazing. My last thing for the show is reading The Athletic. I got a buddy, Rob Rossi, who's reported for the Penguins. Biz, you know him well. He dropped a pretty cool article on Jaromir Jagr. You know why I call him Jaromir Jagr? It's the guys who were sitting at the Bruins-Penguins game in '95 going, damn, this Jaromir Jagr's legit. Well, Sunday, coming up, they're going to be retiring his number. I believe it's going to be the third number retired, maybe the fourth in Pittsburgh. So they went over, and he has a cool article talking to former staff of the Penguins, former teammates, just people that were around him for his years in Pittsburgh. One of the stories is Peter Sikora, who lived at his house. So when Jágr got traded to the Capitals, I think it was 2001. He just left his house there, and he left everything in it. And so Sikora goes in there, and there's 5 Art Ross trophies. There's a stick for his 400th goal, and he's like, "Yeah, you want me to send this to me?" He's like, "No, that happened in Pittsburgh. That stuff stays in Pittsburgh." So there's some pretty cool stories in terms of, if you want to check that out. Just Jaromir Jágr, true legend of the game, and I mean, reading through it, like, he was a rock star in the age before the internet, like the long hair, what he did, the way Craig Patrick talks about how they got him over to the United States and they had to get him visas. And I think they got to Hamilton, Ontario, and they were like, "Where's his visa?" They were like, "Oh, it's in Pittsburgh." They're like, "Okay, go ahead." Like, it was a free for all. It was the old wild west getting him into the United States. In the article, it also mentions that when they interviewed him prior to the draft in 1990, he went 5th, and they said, "Would you come over next year?" And he said, "Yes, I'd love to come over." And apparently the teams picking 1 through 4 had asked him, and he said, "No, I wouldn't. I think he just wanted to play with Mario Lemieux." So amazing that they went from Lemieux to Jágr to Crosby to Malkin. It's been this insane run for the Penguins when we talk about what's coming up in the future for that team. But I got a story that wasn't in the article from a former teammate that at the 91 Cup parade, and apparently, and if you go into the article, like, it talks about, like, women were obsessed with Yags. I mean, good-looking guy. He's never been married. Like, they're out at a bar, and, like, he stands up, and they just all start screaming, just rock star status. Well, at the parade in 91, apparently some girl came up and was like, "Can I have your autograph? Can I have your autograph?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." And she just pulled her pants down and asked him to sign her right butt cheek. So he signed it up. And then come the next year, they won it again in 92, and the girl comes up and she says, "Hey, look," and pulled the pants down, and she had his name tattooed into the ass cheek where he signed it.
Shit.
So this is Yags.
That's going to look like Pasha when the Devils miss playoffs.
Yeah, Pasha's going to have that Devils mug right in his butt. But I just think I recommend reading the article. You kind of forget with all the stops he made after Pittsburgh and everything he's done. The fact the guy's still playing. So Sunday's going to be a special day in Pittsburgh. And he even mentions Phil Bourque's telling the story, the old 2-9er, that he went over to watch Yags play a few years back, and he kind of was putting it in his head, like, "Hey, you got to come back. They want to retire your number." He's like, No. They hate me there. All they do is boo me. People don't like me in Pittsburgh. He's like, "No, man, they booed you because everyone was afraid of you scoring, and, like, you were a threat, and they love you there. Time heals all wounds. Like, you're loved in Pittsburgh." So I think Sunday is going to be pretty special to see his name and his number go up in the rafters there.
So going back to that draft when he went 5th, though, the first 4 teams, they got Owen Nolan, Peter Nedved, Keith Primo, Mike Ricci, and then obviously Jágr was
pretty
5th.
Legit top 5.
Very legit. I think only 2 of them, 2 of those guys didn't hit 1,000 games, but each of them reached over 900. Islanders picked 6. They picked Scott Sissons. He only played 2 games. And then going past that at 7th and 8th, you have Daryl Sador and Darian Hatcher. So it was just the top 8 picks were just loaded, other than obviously the Islanders fucking things up as the Islanders do. So suck on that, Fishman.
Biz might get shanked at this Stadium Series event.
Yeah.
Speaking of, good, nice little segue there, Whit. Yeah, the Stadium Series is coming up this weekend. We are having a meet and greet at Texas, Arizona. It's at 76 River Street in Hoboken. Gee, have you been to this place yet?
What the fuck's up with all these bars? Paris, Texas,
Yeah.
Arizona. What is
flows.
this? Is this like
It flows. It just rolls off the tongue. This is an awesome spot, too. It's right in downtown Hoboken, right next to the PATH. The PATH train is the train that connects you to New York City. So if you're in New York, you want to come over for a couple drinks, it's 7:30 to 9, right on River Street in Hoboken. Pop over. It's right next to the PATH. Will be fun. Merles will be there hammering out picks. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm going for both games. I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually on the road for 5 weeks now, boys. We're doing this simulcast, and then it's right off to New York for 5-6 days to enjoying the festivities. And then I tell you guys I'm doing that match later on this month too with DJ
buddy,
Khaled.
I know.
Another one.
You and
5
DJ
weeks?
Khaled.
You said
I'm going to
5
be
weeks.
bouncing around. Yeah, I'll be in.
Wow.
I'll be staying in Atlanta for a little bit. I'll be bouncing around Florida. I kind of want to go check out different pockets of Florida to see where I would maybe want to buy a condo. I think it's time to buy.
You should check out Delray, Lauderdale, West Palm, like Boca. Like I think I like that. You go all around, check out what you like best. I could see you living in Florida.
I'm actually going to check out Tampa too.
Tampa's
Just go there
awesome, dude.
Tampa's a good spot.
I love
Sarasota's.
You're on the
Go down to
intercoastal,
Sarasota.
so you're probably are you dealing with less storms because if you're in Tampa because you're on the interior?
Yeah, definitely
Like
less chance of hurricane on the Gulf side than the Atlantic side, 100%.
Until the one crushed Naples last year, but
Yeah, go down to Sarasota, man. Siesta Key, Lido Key, Longbow Key.
I'm going to Key West
unbelievable.
like you, baby.
Oh, fucking right.
I'm going to go rip the bong and just hang out on the beach.
Did you hook up Shanny with my digits? I got a little text with no number attached to it. It was Shanny? I'm assuming you got it from
false. Pretending to be shit. Oh, I think Foles tried to get me. I got a text saying, "Hey, it's Butch Goring. You want to connect?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, right." Not a chicken dick's
Suck it,
chance he has a
Foles.
cell phone, let alone trying to reach out to me. So Foles tried to get me with the fake Butch Goring.
Well, what if it was Butch Goring though? Like, do we know? Like, are you gonna test? Do you want me to call it up?
what was
and
the
see if
area
it's Butch?
code?
Like, if this is Butch, we got to make it happen.
Let me see if I still have the text. I'll call it right now.
Nick Cousins is going to answer.
Come on, Butchie.
Let's go. Say you're live to tape too.
Hello?
Hi, who's this?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, who's this?
I don't know. You just called me. Sorry.
Well, you texted me first. You texted me saying it's Butch Goring. You sound a lot younger unless you got a voice box transplant.
No, it's not Butchie.
Oh,
Ooh,
who is
Butchie.
it?
My name's Dominic.
How'd you get my number?
It's just online.
You got my number? Oh yeah, which website
Dominic's
did you get my
lying,
number
Biz.
off of? So why? So were you just trying to like prank me by saying it's Butch Goring, hoping I would text back, playing tummy sticks with Butchie Boy?
No, I was just joking around. I don't mean. I'm not trying to be any problem for you, Biz. I'm real sorry. I'm just big fan of the pod. I heard they, you were looking for an assistant. I didn't know how to reach out, and I
like this
found
guy.
your number.
Hey,
okay.
I didn't think much of it. I
Tell him
didn't
he's live
really
to
think
tape.
it was going to be you, to be honest.
Well, okay, you're actually live on Chiclets right now. What makes you think that you could be my assistant? Like, what type of skill set do you have? And you didn't, by chance, try to sneak in and be our DJ at King Taps at the All-Star game, did you?
No, that's not me.
Oh, okay, that's another guy trying some tomfoolery. What skill set do you have in which you think you could bring to being my personal assistant?
I'm versatile. I'm on my feet. I don't know. I'm rattled right now. I didn't think
Biz,
anything of it. So.
Ask him if he's ever had a girl give him a BJ with a zin in.
Have you ever had a blowjob from a girl who had a zin in their upper lip?
A zin in their upper lip. Can't say I have. No.
Okay.
Lower lip. Yeah.
Ask if he's given one.
That's one of the qualifications. So I'm going to talk to the guys here, and maybe we'll get you on next pod if you're actually serious about taking the role as my personal assistant.
Write up
And
a
we
game
do
plan.
You got to come prepared. I know you're jammed up right now because I called you and you're like trying to be Butch Goring. Now, one of the things that you would have to bring in order to get the job, though, is you'd actually have to find Butch Goring's number for me.
I think I could do that for you.
Okay. All right. So I'll reach back out and we'll maybe put out a Twitter poll, see if our fans want to get you on and give you the opportunity to be my personal assistant. We did say at the beginning of the podcast, though, that we're not going to feed into these antics that some of our fans bring, but we're completely full of shit, kind of like you were.
I want to tell you, like, I'm obviously rattled as shit right now because I just stopped texting you because I didn't hear back. I wasn't going to, persist on you. I know you get a lot of people hitting you up, whatever. So, I wasn't going to persist.
Who's his favorite NHL team, Biz?
So I didn't want to bother you in that nature. So I really apologize if, I bothered you at all, Biz.
Who's your team?
New York Rangers.
Oh my God.
I can agree with you. They're the Fugazis this year.
I got Rangers fans and their fucking feelings.
Fuck.
Do you hear that, Rangers fans?
You might have to be this kid's
I'm a realist.
therapist.
Listen, I knew the Super Bowl was going to be rigged last night for the Chiefs, just like I know the Rags aren't winning the cup anytime soon.
Hashtag rigged.
What do you make of Dolan cock blocking the Lindholm trade because he wants everybody at the Sphere watching the Rangers fuck another first-round draft pickup?
I got to be honest, I didn't hear anything about. I know we were somewhat in the race for Lindholm, but that went to bed quick. But to be honest, I don't really want Lindholm. I mean, you look at the package Van put together. I don't think the Rangers could have beat that, and I don't think I want the Rangers to.
Who does he want at the deadline?
Player, so,
who do you want at the deadline for the Rangers in order to make an impact and maybe give you?
To be honest, I don't think there's anyone at the deadline that's going to be enough of an impact player to put the Rangers over the edge.
Dom's down bad right.
I like this guy. I like this guy.
I like Dom too.
Goaltenders.
Yeah, listen, I've played GM mode on Shell, so I guess you could say I'm pretty with it. I'm like, I'm the next great GM. Just Shell GM does it.
I need one more thing from you. Is Dolan a clown?
The owner? Yeah, he's an absolute clown. He's never going to sell the team, though.
You got
I
the
think
job,
you just
buddy.
found your assistant.
You got the job. I love you. Great talking to you, Dominic.
Yeah.
And are you going to the Stadium Series?
I'm not. No, I did order the jersey. They got me on that ripoff, but no, I don't think I'm going to go to the game.
Okay.
Unless there's going to be some event for me to sneak into, then I could be
Texas, Arizona, bitch.
Well, you should. What you should be doing is texting RA. Get his number online. He'll sneak in with you.
I'll tell you, Biz. I'll tell you, you're the only number that's on public record. So my point to you.
Did you actually get it on public records?
Yes, and I want you to be rubbing that so nobody else. I wasn't going to put your number out. I mean, I told my buddies, I was like, dude, I think I got Biz's number. And they're like, what is it? I wouldn't give it to my best of friends.
I like this.
I'm like,
I don't want your number. Get it out of there. But yeah, I checked every one of the guys. I was trying to reach G, just to send an email. But you guys get a shit ton of people, trying to reach out to you, I'm sure. And I didn't want to be another one of those people.
What's his job is?
I sent a joke. Tommy sticking with you. I figured if you responded to the Butch joke, that it would be you, and then you did.
Well, I'm like Mike Jones now. You remember Mike Jones, a rapper? 281-330-8004. Mike Jones here. I'm Mike Jones.
What's his job?
I can't believe this is real life right now. I'm sitting playing fucking shell right now, and this is nuts.
All right. Well, we love you, Dominic, and good luck with your Chell game, and we'll see you next week. You're going to have to come on the road with me the next 5 weeks, and I'll be in a hotel room, so you'll be sleeping on a cot, and you're going to be my personal assistant. First order of duty.
I'll sleep on the floor for you. I'll get your coffee. I'll give you a tugger if you need it.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Thigh massage.
You give me Zen bomb blowjobs. All right, Dominic, we love you, brother.
I don't know about that. We're going to have to bring the Thai massage therapist on the road for that one. But
Okay.
All
right. Well, we appreciate you, buddy, and thanks for listening, and good luck in GM mode.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll keep her going.
Dom.
So my number's online.
I do know. Your number being online, like that needs to be the minute we stop recording, like call whoever you need to call to figure that one out. I don't even understand like how yours would be and ours wouldn't be. Like, that makes no sense.
There's a ton of numbers that just aren't right. Like I Googled it and there's just like a million phone numbers that just aren't yours. So I don't know how he got yours.
I might be more jammed up than Dominic right now at the fact my number's online, but I don't really got much else for the rest of this podcast, guys, other than going to scrub my name offline quick here.
Yeah, like we just said, we're going to be at the Stadium Series, Philly, Jersey, the first night, Saturday, and then Rangers, Islanders, 3 p.m. in Texas, Arizona. If you got nothing to do before or after that, there's going to be a screening of the movie I'm in, The Late Game. You go to thelategame.com, code RAZAM for RA, the Zamboni driver. There's a showing at 3:30 and then 9:30, so it won't interfere with any of our Chiclets events. So if you want to swing by, check out the flick, please do. Boys, any final notes before we wrap it up and head to Atlanta for the Chiclets cast?
No.
I will see you guys tomorrow.
Can't fucking wait.
Peace.
True TV, Max Streaming. See you there tomorrow. Adios.